What's up, meatbags? I am the often imitated, never duplicated Tony TGD, coming at you with another Gabbing with Geeks. Of course, I'm joined by my right-hand man, Carl. Why don't you say hello,
Yo,
Carl?
folks.
So this is going to be the only time you hear me do this. It's going to be a weekly on Saturdays on the intro section. I'm going to say like, subscribe, share. Let's get that out of the way. We got to get them numbers up. We're almost at 200 subscribers on the channel, so let's try to pump the numbers up.
200, folks. Well, let me tell you, time is valuable to me, and it doesn't even take that much to go to YouTube, look for the poor bastard, and subscribe to him, and like all his stuff.
That's right. It's going to take you like 30 seconds to go ahead and do that. So if you haven't done that, do that. If you're watching this live, I know you guys are already subscribed. If you're watching this on the replay, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You want to. Now that
Or
that's
shave
out
your
of the way,
pet's bald.
now that that's out of the way, we're going to go ahead and get into the intro. So, Carl, how's your week been going?
Pretty good. It's just getting over being hot over here, so. And I've been playing Fallout 3 on my Xbox, and that's about it. And Bejeweled, so.
Didn't you just tell me that you bought some stuff online,
Yeah.
Carl?
So, alright, so, for my Nintendo Switch, I got Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning. For my movie stuff, I got the Thundercats complete DVD set, not the second remake, not the second one that nobody gives a shit about, the original one from Rankin and Bass. And I got that Angry Joe Shaker Cup. I got to tell you, folks, after all is said and done, for me, it came down like $17. So that's how much it's going to cost you if you want it. But I got to tell you, it looks really nice, and I do use shaker cups myself, so it all works out.
Plus, Angry Joe could use the support. He is, falling off. He's not the same Angry Joe that he was a couple of years ago.
Honestly, I like this one more. I don't like old Angry Joe more. He just, I don't know.
I liked old Angry Joe. I used to watch him back in the day. I've had many a Twitter back and forth with Angry Joe. He's a decent
He's
fellow.
not. I got to be honest. He wasn't the best looking fellow, that's for sure. Boy, I told my heart on the eyes.
Man, Carl, you always bringing the fire every week, Carl.
I mean, he's cool. He's cool. And I'll say this much about the launch of Cyberpunk. I called the rating out for the consoles, and he was shocked. And he ended up doing that rating for the console version of Cyberpunk 2077. So, I have no idea if it's because of me or just because he was genuinely that unimpressed, but it's just kind of interesting, the coincidence.
I'm sure you influenced him, Carl. Everyone's influenced by Carl.
I don't know, but I doubt that. But no, he's okay. I mean, I think they do a little complaining over, like Alex complains, I don't have a PlayStation 5, and I'm thinking, you probably make the money, you cheap bastard. Go ahead and buy one.
Yeah, I mean, I got a PlayStation 5, and I'm not as rich as those guys, so.
I mean, they act like they're so broke.
That's the game on YouTube. You got to act like you got no money, so
they even went to Disneyland. I mean, it just. I've been to Disney World a few times, but it's that's where
it's a small world after all.
That really was a cool ride, to be honest. That's where I got my favorite snow globe.
Tell us about that, Carl. What's in this favorite snow globe of yours?
It's the Magic 100th celebration. It's one of those special anniversary editions. And it's the Epcot, and the Epcot globe lights up, and it has all the little world countries around it. I gotta get the light bulb changed at some point, but how the hell do you change out the light bulb in a snow globe?
I guess you had to go to like a snow globe repair shop or something. I don't know.
I don't know. I'll do it one of these days, but right now it's just sitting on my dresser. So
Chuck's the position wants to know what's your second favorite snow globe. He is a snow globe connoisseur.
Actually, I have a few. The 100 Years of Magic, the one that I got that used to belong to my grandma and grandpa, and that's just a really old one. And the other, it's basically a Star Wars snow globe with a snowman made to look like a stormtrooper, and it says at the bottom, "The Force made me do it."
That seems like a nice little snow globe.
So I do like different kinds. Oh, and I do have one that looks like a present, and I have a few kinds here and there. So
we might have to get a snow globe tour of Carl's.
Maybe
collection.
I'll do that one day.
I would suggest you do. You have a channel on YouTube, Carl. I mean,
yeah,
you should probably show off your snow globes.
I gotta figure out. I gotta figure how to do it without YouTube rejecting my videos. So
YouTube's rejecting your videos.
Well, yeah, they used to reject my long videos, and it just stalls on me. So
maybe it's
that's
something to do with your bandwidth or your upload speed.
I don't know. That's why my longer videos always end up on Twitter.
I don't know if there's a lot of snow globe channels, but maybe that could be your niche, your niche.
Maybe I don't know. I don't have a lot of I think 5 or 6. I think 5 or 6 is what I have.
You could pull a John Hancock. You could open up a snow globe museum. Have people send you their snow globes.
Maybe no, I can do that. It would look too awful. I do love snow globes though. They're really cool. Just simple things you can look at. Actually, I'll show you one of them. Here you go. Let's see now.
Oh, we're gonna get a little sneak peek at the snow globe collection.
I'll show you one of them. Here. Give me a moment, folks. Here it is. Oh,
Carl, you've been watching too much Smash JT with that shirt off.
Sorry, it can't be helped. That's usually how I stream, which is why I'm apprehensive about doing this all the time. But here we go. I don't know if you can see it. And this is hard for me. Here we go. So yeah, this is basically what it is. Just a simple one. This one used to belong to my grandparents.
Fantastic.
I'll show you the Disney one later on. I thought about getting another Disney one, but those things are like $50 or $75.
That's too expensive for a snow globe.
Well, I mean, they're pretty ornate. They're pretty big.
That's what she said.
Yeah, so they are pretty big. They are worth the money. The size and the price are in proportionate to each other.
Luke wants to know who looks better shirtless, Carl or Rich?
Oh, I probably look better than him in the face. I'm not trying to sound narcissistic here, but I mean, I do look better than Rich in the face. In the body, I don't know. We're kind of probably built similarly.
Chuck says you got a better disposition, so you win on that.
Yeah, I kind of do. I mean, I guess at least on camera. I don't know the guy in real life, but on camera, I mean, he seems to be more interested in reading super chats and stuff like that. So
Yeah, with Rich, I know it's for $50. He'll take his shirt off, but I want to ask him how much for him to write my channel name across his man boobs.
I don't know. So then you could ask him.
It'd be like free advertising. I get like a live stream of Review Tech USA with my channel all over across his titties.
Maybe 100. I don't know.
We'll have to see. I'm gonna ask him next time he's on live stream. So you had a good week.
Yeah, that's pretty good. What about you? Besides getting the beer plague.
Yeah, so I am under the weather. You might have noticed I'm not as excitable as I usually am. It's been going around for about a week. I don't know if it's working too much or just general sickness or what's going on, but yeah, I am feeling a tad bit under the weather. Just a little bit.
It's all those times that you were burning effigies of Tommy Tallarico.
It could have been inhaled too much of that smoke. But the week has been pretty good, though. As you can see, I did change the colors on the live stream. We got the purple going on.
I kind of like it.
I got the intro on the bottom, so from now on, all the different segments are going to have the little name on the bottom, so it's going to be easier to identify what we're talking about and easier for me to cut things up and post them. As far as monetization on YouTube, I am still about 800 subs away, but the watch time, I'm actually over the necessary 4,000 hours of watch time, so that's good. That interview I did with Nick Richards got a real good reception. I got a shout out from Pat and Ian on the CU podcast, so that was nice. And the other interview with Nick from a bigger channel, a channel that has about 15 times as many subscribers as my channel, is trailing by about 200 views on his interview with Nick Richards. So, all in all, it's been a good week for me.
And wouldn't you know it? We thought things would change. We'd be better, but wouldn't you know it? A&A is back, baby.
Yeah, it looks like the Amico No Access, the whole group is going to get back together. We're going to have a couple more discussions because there's just always something going on in Amico land. We will get to it later on in the live stream. I'm going to put it towards the end of the live stream just because.
Can I say something quick?
Go ahead, Kyle. Jump on it.
I want to thank. I think it was Canadian Gamer who said this. It's either him or Ninja Kitty, and one of them said this, and I agree. Thank you, Tommy Tallarico, for making YouTube fun again. We appreciate it.
That is one positive about the whole Amico debacle. It is interesting. People are making funny videos. It's getting back to the roots of putting the U in YouTube. It's just people having fun, making shitty videos. I mean, this whole channel is based on shitty videos. Let's just face it. All right. So if you read the title of the live stream, we're going to be talking about if video games need an easy mode.
Hell yes, they need an easy mode.
We'll get to it, Kyle. You got to keep it for the segment. We're going to be talking about. I got 3 songs that represent the channel, the show. I'm gonna play them for the audience. We're gonna see which one could possibly be the next theme song for the channel, for the Gabbing with Geeks. Of course, we're gonna be talking about that Amico and all the news surrounding that, and then some Q&A from the chat. So
sounds terrific.
If you want to join, if you want to be part of this, let me know. Hit it up.
Come on, folks.
If not, we're just going to go ahead and get into the first topic of the night.
If you don't, I'm going to stream shirtless. I promise you that.
I don't know if that's a threat or that if that's like a reward at this point, Kyle. Realistically speaking, you might get us some more. The views have gone up since you did show up shirtless, so we do have
I
that
don't
going.
know. Let's see. All right. Let's take a vote in the chat. How many of you want me to stream shirtless? And Tony can tally up the votes or something. If you don't want to vote, that's cool or whatever. I won't.
Good call, stream shirtless. Let's hear what you got to say in the chat. Chuck says no. He was quick on the draw with that one.
Okay. All right. I can take a hint. See, Rich, I can't. Unlike you, I can take a hint.
Luke says do it. Oh, we got 1 and 1.
Okay, 1-1.
Personally, I think that Carl should have some dignity and not stream shirtless.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. I'm flexible, so no streaming shirtless, folks. All right. Let's get to the next segment.
All right. Hold up. Let's cut out the intro segment. Next segment, we're going to talk about, do video games need an easy mode? This is a highly debated topic. This is something a lot of the journalists are always jumping on the bandwagon saying they need an easy mode in games. Dark Souls, Demon Souls, they're too hard. They need to be easier. They need to have a way for just regular people to beat these games. Carl, what do you think?
Okay, so I think that games like Dark Souls need an easy mode just to give people with beginner skill level like me, for example, a way to just enjoy them. And I'm sorry, but if the only thing that defines a game is the difficulty, it's not much of a game. I can play Fallout 3, for example, and I can enjoy the whole thing with the difficulty turned down as much as possible. And, well, there is another reason. Like streamers, for example, they want to play games like that. But, those kind of games require you to master them move for move. And so there are varying reasons to support my argument. And it just feels really cheap when they make the games that difficult.
Luke Skywalker seems to agree with you. He says, the only mode I play in is easy mode. I want to enjoy the story and enjoy the ride. I've torn up 2 of the controllers when there wasn't an easy mode. Well, I'm going to have to disagree with both of you gentlemen. I think that video games do not need an easy mode. Now, obviously, if a developer wants to include an easy mode, I'm all for it. I'm always for artistic freedom, developer freedom, the choice to make their games however they want, as long as it falls within the laws of the country that the game is being, released in. But as far as needing an easy mode, I don't think so. I think that is the very definition of entitlement. I think people that want an easy mode, they want to beat the game. They feel like they bought the game, so they're entitled to see the ending of the game. And I 100% disagree with this notion. I think that you're focusing too much on the destination and not the journey. When I was younger, the whole neighborhood was playing Who Framed Roger Rabbit. We never beat the game. No one could figure out how to beat Judge Doom. We made it to Judge Doom, and for weeks and weeks we were just playing this game, always trying to beat it, never could beat it. And we had fun. There was fun to be had in the attempt, and the journey itself was fun. We didn't need to beat the game. We didn't feel like we lost something or we were owed something from the developers because we bought the game because we paid for it or we rented it or whatever. So I think this whole idea of an easy mode is because, obviously people are more entitled. They think that just because you bought something, you deserve to see the ending. They want to be part of the in crowd. They want to say they beat Demon Souls. They want to say they beat these hard games and be part of the cool kids club when, they can't. They're not. They're not that good. Ninja Kitty says in the old days, games just included cheat codes. This is true.
I'd be okay with cheat codes.
Chuck says easy mode is good. Lock some rewards behind hard.
If they're stupid rewards, no, like in Mortal Kombat, they lock a lot of the end aesthetic customizations behind difficulty levels, and I think it's stupid.
Arioka says, I'm okay with the option for easy mode, but video games without a challenge aren't fun to me. Exactly. If there's no challenge, what's the point of even playing the game? If you get to...
Why not instead of doing just okay, here's my compromise. Add an easy mode, but also add an even other degrees of difficulty modes. And that's the one thing I actually like about Diablo 3. It has like 13 difficulty levels, and they all affect varying parts of the game. So I would be okay with a super easy mode, but also add the really brutal, the most brutal difficulty modes that they can come up with.
I don't know. Like I said, for me, I would prefer that the developers make a game that they want in the way they want to make it, whether it's hard or easy, whether it's tricky, whether you have to think about what you're doing or grind. I think we shouldn't be imposing onto developers how they need to make games. I think we should just let them make them the way they want them.
There is one other problem.
What's that, Carl?
Accessibility. See, a lot of these developers put, ways to use visual cues on defeating bosses. Well, some people can't see these visual cues. So by not including some kind of way to help players, they're basically saying they hate the disabled. Am I wrong?
I think you're slightly off base. I don't think they're saying that they hate the disabled so much as they weren't considering the disabled.
Okay, I'll look at Horizon Zero Dawn. That game is so anti-disabled gamer, it's not even funny. Even the way the game works, the scan system, the colors blend in, and there's no audio cues on quest tracking or the scan mechanism. It would be different if they added non-visual cues to help people get around the difficulty, but they don't do that stuff.
So it sounds like to me that you don't want so much in easy mode, more accessibility options.
I just want more. I want to be able to play the game, and they expect you to reach these platforms or do this or do that. Well, I can't do all that. I don't mind if the game is challenging. Just make it that I can get through it. That's one thing I can't. Huh?
Can you get through a physics book, Carl?
Wait a minute, I've never had physics.
If I handed you a physics book and I told you to start reading it, would you be able to get through the whole book?
It would really depend on the book, whether or not there was a large print version available.
Okay, what about a book in French, a French book? Would you be able to read?
I don't speak French, but I would consider learning.
So my point is, should we force people who make books to make them accessible to people who don't understand the subject matter?
But books are accessible, though. You got most, if not every book these days, at least the ones worth reading about, are in Braille. They have an audible. They have an audio version. They are on a PDF file.
Right.
They're
But
they're
what I'm saying though, Carl, is you could listen to an audiobook, right? But it doesn't mean that you understand what you heard. So should they be a version of a book that has all the words that are difficult dumbed down, everything explained, over explained, any word that might be difficult, they pause and give you the definition of that word and explain it to you? No, right? Because that would be stupid. So why should a video game dumb itself down for the lowest common denominator so that person can defeat the game, ruining the
I
experience for
didn't.
everyone else?
I'm not saying dumb it down. I mean, a lot. If they can make it, if they can make it possible for people to play the game, anyone, I'm all for that. And I don't know. I mean, like I said, I mean, the problem with no easy mode, these games, have nothing else to offer. They're only they can only offer the challenge, and once you get through that challenge, that's it. Nothing else. There's nothing else. No other reason to play the game. If like Fallout 76, for example. You get to enjoy the story, no matter how crappy it is. Or BioShock. There's just.
But if the game's only incentive is how hard it is, if you're not interested in the story, so what do you care if you could play it or not?
I mean, I like role playing games, and I like to look at the graphics and some of the quests. It just depends, but hard games, they're nothing because they don't really offer anything else. They're a one-trick show.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. If they're a one-trick show, why you take away their one trick, and why not just not play it?
Well, I think it's sad that that's that game developers have that philosophy, though. That's what I'm saying.
Like 56K warning says, bullet hell shooters. Should a bullet hell shooter, should a like a 1942 Ikaruga, one of them games, should they have less bullets on screen so someone else can beat the game on an easier mode?
I mean, if they can make it possible to play the game without making it easier, I'm okay with that. I just want the games to be easier to play. I can't play, for example, The Outer Worlds because of the visual problems. And this is a game that they compare to New Vegas, and it just isn't, because New Vegas has the options like the flashlight or the VATS. I don't have the means to lock on. There's no aim assist or anything like that for me. It's for people who can see to play the games, and that's not fair.
Well, I think that's a different conversation. I think obviously accessibility options, giving you audio clues, taking away the visual clues, giving you something, making a trade-off between one for the other.
I just want to play the game. If they want to make, I'm a proponent for easy mode and everything, but I can be okay without it as long as I can play the game. That's all I've wanted. And it feels like people like me are being left out on purpose.
I don't think they're doing it on purpose. I think they're just, like I said, I think they don't consider it. I know a gentleman I talk to frequently, Blind Ryan. He is really big into accessibility. He's always trying to get the developers to add different options and modes in games because he is a visually impaired gamer.
It just that's it just bothers me that I waste money on these games, and the problem is there's no way to get my money back, even especially on digital.
Well,
So
I
I
was going to say maybe an accessibility warning or if you are unable to
it'd be
see.
nice if they actually did that. I'd be okay with that. But instead, I have to find out for myself. Oops, I've just spent $60 and I can't play the game.
Yeah, that is a real crappy feeling when you pay a bunch of money and then you can't even use the game.
OCG was here before.
Yeah, I popped him out. He wasn't saying nothing.
Oh,
I think he just logged in, but he did not get his mic and everything set up.
and I'm just saying that like it sucks that I can't play these games because they're not made for me. That's what I like.
I was gonna say Chuck says that we should have accessibility certified games. I think that's an opportunity right there. Yeah, he agrees.
Yeah, I agree with that. The accessibility laws should really apply to video games.
Yeah, they really
And I'm not
should.
saying make them easier. Like I said, as much as I am, in favor of the easy mode, if they can make the game easier to play, like Hollow Knight, for example, I found the platforming excruciating in that game just because it's hard for me to gauge distance. And because a lot of the stuff is like the platforms are sometimes hidden by the background and the foreground and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I've never played Hollow Knight. Carl, you sometimes you trail off on your thoughts, and it throws me for a loop.
Sorry about that.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, there you are.
So, what do you think about this topic?
So accessibility, I was thinking about that, and it kind of brings me back to Streets of Rage. And I always, as a kid, thought I was a little bummed in games like that where you got a better ending when you played on hard. And I understand that a lot of guys like that. I guess it depends on the game and what you're going after. I mean, to be honest, as long as it's there, it's an option. Some guys just want to bet. There are better players. You got to understand that there are people who play through games a lot better than you might, and they might need that extra difficulty. Now, on a game like Streets, it just goes from like hard to insane, right? I mean, you get guys coming from everywhere. But I mean, after playing for how long has it been out now? Over 20 years, 25 years. I'm pretty good at Streets of Rage, so I can pull off those weird kind of combo moves, and I understand how to use the power in the right way so that you're not draining yourself and that you're conserving and that you're not taking extra hits. But I do, I'm kind of in the middle on it. I see it on both sides, but there, at least if it's an option, at least it's there. It could just be normal and just be regular. But I think even if it doesn't offer anything, if it's there, it's a nice bonus.
Yeah, like I said, I think that it should really be up to the developers. I don't think we should force them to make easy modes. I also agree with the whole idea that if you play on easy mode, if it's an option in the game, you should get the full ending. They shouldn't fuck with you and tell you to go back and play it on a harder difficulty. really dumb. It's bad design. It kind of pisses me off a little.
Oh yeah, awful, tacky.
Well,
Oh,
I think
man.
I think it started a lot too with like at the beginning of like Xbox 360. It seemed like a lot of these games had multiple endings, and it was a little too much. Because at the end of the day, I like that when that was current, I liked that. I don't play too much into like PS4, Xbox One. I only had a handful of games for my Xbox One, so at the end of the day, I am kind of pretty much a retro gamer. But that kind
You
of stuff
must not
started
play.
around that era.
You must not play a lot of Square RPGs like Chrono Trigger or.
Oh, I mean, you know, I have a lot of the good classics and stuff that were, you know, the good JRPGs for, you know, things like DS, 3DS, stuff like that. But I've kind of like cut back, and I've been more of a handheld gamer probably in the last, you know, 5 to 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the bottom line? General consensus: easy mode in games. Do we need them, Carl?
Not necessarily, as long as you make it possible for everyone to get through the game as you intend it.
Yeah, I agree
Even
with that.
the disabled people. You know, like if there are like Dark Souls 4, you know, if there are cues in there, there should be audio and visual cues.
I can agree with that.
There needs to be better accessibility options in games, and those accessibility rules, at least in America, I don't know how they are for other countries, should really apply to game design. It's just, I mean, even in the theater, there are listening devices you can use, and they have closed caption tech and stuff like that. So even if you can't see, you can still enjoy the movie.
Yeah, I know.
That's a good point.
On some of the adult sites, they have the closed captioning on your pornos. So even
Why the hell do you need that? Oh, okay. No, I can see that. I can see the benefit in that.
Yeah,
But,
what did he say just before the money shot?
you got to get all that prime dialogue in there. So bottom line, Gary, what do you think? Should easy mode be a necessity with games, or?
You know, I think it should. I think it should. Like Carl said, I don't think anything should be. It should just be a you know, like a toggle. That's it. I think like if I got the little guy coming in and he wants to play some, you know, Streets of Rage, I'll probably put it down a notch just so me and him can, you know, he can survive a little bit longer. So you know, there's different situations, and like I said, I'm in the middle. As long as they don't, you know, hinder the design of the game, because I think that should come first. That's, you know, that's what's most important.
and I think difficult games like the Souls games, I think they need more depth. You know, like I said, being defined by your difficulty, you got a lot of serious problems if that's your focus.
Yeah, I know the Dark Souls games. They got some kind of overall story going on. I've never really gotten
They
too
say
far into
they
it.
say they do, but you never hear you barely ever hear about anyone talk about the story.
Yeah, they just talk about the difficulty, and I never got into Dark
Thank you.
Souls too much, but it seemed like a slower paced game. It was one of those games where you had to really methodically think out of your attacks. You couldn't just go in and expect, even being careful, you couldn't expect to just beat some of those bosses.
And you
it was
don't have
tough.
the time to do that sometimes.
Right.
You know,
right.
it's like the one wrong move, and I'm just saying that, you know, we need more depth to these games.
And that's part of I think Dark Souls' design is, you know, die. And I mean, like old NES games, it was die, figure out what you did wrong, and go back at it again. That's basically what I get from Dark Souls.
Now, there's one Metroidvania roguelike called Sundered.
Never
And
heard of
it is hard. But what they do is you gather money and you basically use it to upgrade your abilities. Probably better than what Hades does with that sort of thing, but that's another story altogether.
56K Warning says the Souls games are pattern-based gameplay.
Yep,
Yeah,
I'd
I've heard
agree
that.
with that.
I think they a lot of the old NES games, the old Atari games, they're all based on arcade machines. The idea of trying to get people to feed quarters into
Quarter
machines.
munchers, yep.
So I think that we should kind of take them off the table as far as the discussion goes, because a lot of those games, like I said, the difficulty was done purposefully to get you to spend more money.
Which is ironic that they brought this concept over, but yeah, let's just move on.
Yeah, I think NES does like it was supposed to emulate that feeling of the arcade, but they did tone it back. I mean, there are games that are hard, and people will argue to the day, to the death, that Battletoads is not a great game. I will tell you that it might be hard, but it's still a fantastic game. I know there's a lot of bugs, but even in today's games, I mean, look at the bugs that come out. They patch them months and after release. So
okay, to the point of Battletoads, I mean, there are ways you can skip certain levels if you wanted to.
Right. Yep.
So it's not, granted, it's hard, but you can skip some of that, though.
Well, you get to that underwater level, and it is pretty, like, it's broken. It's broken, but it's still, like, I still think a broken game, as long as it's not broken to the point where you can't beat it, and there obviously there are people nowadays that are beating it easier than they did when it was people were playing it in the 90s. I think for sure that as long as it's not broken, then you can have your fun out of that game, and if it's not too bad. So
yeah, like Chuck says, it says Battletoads is hard AF, but who can say they didn't have fun playing it back in the day? I remember playing that game back in the day. Always fun, always a good time had. Couch co-op. But I mean, it was hard. But like I said, if we beat the game, had we have beaten Battletoads, for example, right? If there was an easy mode, that would have been it. We would have stopped playing it.
Yeah, right. Would it have been as memorable?
I don't know about that. I don't know, because as I recall hearing, there was something with the way they designed it. As I recall, I think they actually made it hard, the North American version harder.
Ooh.
I recall hearing something to do with the way the difficulty worked in Battletoads. And it's bugging me that I don't know what it is, but it's like something to do with the difficulty. Like, I think they made it harder here or something to that effect. Which, I don't know, it kind of counters the argument, but, I don't know. Don't know. I never played it myself, so.
Yeah, I played it plenty. Like I said, it was a fun game. It was hard. And I think that, like OCG said, if it was easy, it wouldn't have been memorable. No one would even be talking about it to this day. It would have just been something, a flash in the pan.
I mean, look at Ninja Gaiden. Ninja Gaiden did the same thing. It frustrated gamers, and it's talked about. That's when they did the same thing.
That game was hard on purpose.
But it's still fun. I mean, when you still have a soundtrack that's absolutely amazing, you have sprite work that's just really good, animation that's really good. You just know. That's why, and I'm not going to get too much into what we were probably going to be talking about, but when you look at things, that's why after being a gamer for so long, I can look at stuff and I just know. I don't have to play the game to watch a good minute segment of that game to know if it's for me and whether or not it's quality.
I will say one thing. There's a game that kind of Axiom Verge. Now, Axiom Verge had what I like to call as a smart difficulty. It wasn't hard, but it was just depends on how you approached it. And
what kind of game is it, Carl? The shooter?
It's a Metroidvania. And the thing was, what really made it easier for me to see was that it was a sprite based, like the old style. I mean, it's challenging. I think you'd enjoy it. The maps the different regions of the map are color coded. I think you'd probably enjoy it. It's not too pricey on the PlayStation Store.
All right, I want to get to Luke Skywalker's point here. He said, most games that we played back in the day, like Battletoads, we played the crap out of them because we didn't have the number of games like we have now to play through. I think there's an excellent point. I mean, if we had more options back in the day, if there was cheaper games, we probably wouldn't have played those hard games. We probably would have just moved on anyway. So, I mean,
that's a valid point. I agree with that.
So I guess if the games are hard nowadays, with all the options we have, people are just going to stop playing them, and we'll just start playing easier games, and then it'll kind of the market will correct itself, if you will.
And I think you gotta remember too that kids today are impatient. They have a lot of technology in front of them. We grew like Luke who said that we grew up with this stuff, so we're a different breed.
Patient, but that probably has to do with my ADD. So I don't know. It is a good point, though.
Another point. Arioka says the reason why some Japanese games were made harder for the North American market is because you could rent a game and beat it on a weekend in the U.S. while you couldn't rent games in Japan. So I mean.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
So I could definitely understand how some developers, maybe Nintendo, probably Sega, they were putting a little pressure to make the games harder, knowing that people would rent them and beat them and then never buy them. Whereas if they were hard, they might entice somebody to go ahead and buy it.
There you go.
Renting it wouldn't last long enough.
Mm-hmm.
I do think I've heard that somewhere before.
I agree with that. Then, that kind of makes sense. Yeah.
So I think we're all in agreement on this that it would be nice to have easy modes on games, not necessarily needed. We need some more accessibility options for the semi-blind.
I think I can handle Okay, so on the difficulty modes, just make them a smart difficulty instead of less pattern based, something where there are more approachable options. How about that? You're not making the game easier, you're just making it more approachable.
Didn't Borderlands have something like that? Borderlands 2 introduced like a
Borderlands is
difficulty, or at least that was what they were saying before the game launched.
Well, Borderlands is not hard I mean, you'll die from it a lot.
I mean, yeah, and that that's a given. I mean, I wouldn't say it's hard, but it's going to reset you back.
They never had a difficulty selector. You just played the game and got through it, and that you got the True Hunter
Vault mode or the Vault Hunter modes, and I mean, there's some different modes. It ramps up, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah. It's that was pretty good on the difficulty, I admit. I had a good time, and I died a lot, but I was able to get through. This stuff that I got through. It worked out.
Yeah, Ninja Kitty brings up a good point on Mega Man 2, and that's probably my favorite series of all time. Definitely, he's definitely right about that.
Everyone's favorite game.
Well, was Mega Man 2 actually easier in the US? Because now I feel not as accomplished for having beaten the game.
I mean, it's definitely not difficult to me now, but it's hard to answer that question. I definitely.
Once you well, I was saying the thing about Mega Man is once you understood the order. I guess it's not hard for you. I never played them, but I understand how it works to some degree. So,
Ninja Kitty says it's the same reason why Mario Lost Levels was never released in North America. I mean, it was eventually released as Super Mario Lost Levels. We do all know that the original Super Mario Brothers 2
Doki Doki Panic.
It was said to be too hard, so they did change a game, reskin Doki Doki Panic into a Mario game. They gave us the exclusive Super Mario Brothers 2 for North America.
Hey, for your information, I like that they made that Super Mario Brothers game based on the Mario Brothers Super Show.
Well, two was a good thing that happened. I absolutely love two. Two is
Two
I don't
is
know
a
if
great game. I
don't
love
know if
two.
it's better
I
than
mean,
I don't know if it's better than three. I think three pretty much introduced the
I
overworld
still remember
maps,
the
and that was
Birdo.
amazing. But
I still
Oh, yeah.
remember the Birdo boss fight, and that was cool.
it was definitely different.
It was fantastic, the way it was. I mean, just how it goes.
And in the Super Mario Brothers 2 for North America, we had the first transgender video game character. So there is that.
I mean, I'm not going to discuss gender identity in politics. So,
Well, it wasn't really politics back in the day. If you read the description of Birdo in the booklet, it says he's a he, but likes to be referred to as a she.
oh yeah. Well,
And does Birdo have a bow?
Yeah.
Kind of. Okay.
does Birdo sue you if you misgender it or misgender?
I don't think video game characters can see you, so I'm gonna go with no.
Sorry, sir. Just
Ninja Kitty
anyway.
says that Ninja Kitty says Mega Man 2 is easier in the US. 100%. They made the bosses take half of the hits, and the health drops were way more frequent. Well, now I feel shitty for having
There you
beat
go.
Yeah, I need to get the Famicom version now.
There you go. I mean, it's still there's a case for games being easier. People still remember it as as fondly as they do.
Arioka is countering with Ninja Gaiden 1, 2, and 3, Streets of Rage 3, and Contra Hardcore were all harder in the US version. So I guess we got some harder games. We got some easier games.
And then they corrected the Ninja Gaiden. They added password system in the Super Nintendo, the trilogy, I think.
I believe so. I was never really a big Ninja Gaiden fan.
Me either.
Ren of Heaven says I play most games on easy mode. I don't have time to get stuck on games.
I mean, I'll get stuck on games, be they hard or easy. So,
well, I'll tell you what. I've been playing a lot of. Not recently. The last few months have been like different games, but a couple months ago I was playing Atomic Crops, and that's another roguelike, and that's a fantastic example of okay, you can beat the game on your initial run, but here we go. We're going to go into can you beat it with amped up, enemies are doing slightly more damage. You're getting slightly less stuff. And they keep ramping up every time you beat it. So right now, I think currently I've beaten it maybe 3 times, and it just gets insane. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Atomic Crops, but it's a fantastic game.
I've seen the game. I've never played it. I think that would be a good option. Maybe starting off the game on easy. As you beat it, every time you beat it, it ramps up the difficulty. I could see that being something that, might be acceptable to everybody. That way everyone can go through it the first time, beat it, and then those who want a challenge will be like, hey, I beat it 16 times in a row, or I'm on my 30th playthrough.
Like a prestige option, yep.
Yeah. Seems that we lost Carl in the middle of this discussion. There might be we might need a easy mode on StreamYards so that way Carl can have an easier time of doing this. I think we're going to move on from this subject. We're going to go ahead and go into the next thing. And we will wait to see if Carl rejoins us.
Yeah, he'll probably be back. He probably just got disconnected.
Man, I hate that crap. There you go.
We got to put Carl back in the number 2 slot. We can't let Gary take his spot.
One day, Carl, one day.
All right, we're going to move into the next topic. It is it's a little weird one. It's something a little different here on the show, but we need a theme song for Gabbing with Geeks, something to put at the very beginning instead of the countdown. I mean, some people have said that we should have a special opening. Obviously, we're not going to have clips because, we don't show our faces, so it would be stupid to have just clips of us talking behind avatars. So I'm thinking of getting something created specifically for the show. So I'm going to reach out to some people to do that.
I think since they call me Fozzie and you Kermit, I think it should be the Muppet Show theme.
The Muppet Baby theme.
Oh, you want the Muppet Baby theme, huh?
No, the Muppet Show theme.
56K warning says Carl breathing into the mic and make it the theme song. We can remix it.
I don't have this. I don't breathe that heavily into it.
It's all in good fun, Carl. They love it.
And anyway, I don't have the software to do that, so one of you would have to do it.
Yep. I've gotten 3 songs. I found 3 songs that I like. I think they all encompass, the heart and soul of the show. So we're going to play them. We're going to see what the chat has to say, what they think about it, what my 2 co-hosts of the evening think about it. So we're going to go ahead and get to it. Hopefully I got this set up right so y'all can hear.
If you're gonna do a music video for that, you really need something to do with Amico at the part he says make a mountain out of a molehill.
So that was the first choice. It seems like everybody thinks that Dare to Be Stupid does fit the show. It fits the theme, fits our general attitude about what we do here on Gabbing with Geeks.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I'm curious what the other 2 are, though. So
I know. I think I might have led with the best song, and now the other 2 are going to fall flat, and you guys are not going to.
Well, no, until you play them.
Yeah, I got to get set up. So, what do you guys think? Dare to Be Stupid is a good song, Luke.
That's it. That's a good one. That's a good one.
It's
I like
always
that one
a good one. But here's the thing: the Transformers movie had single-handedly the best soundtrack of any movie. So, yeah.
You think that it had the best soundtrack of any movie?
I think it had the best soundtrack of any movie.
Hold on, which Transformers?
The animated movie, the one where they killed Optimus Prime.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've seen that one. Oh, we gotta tell
You've never seen
it? Transformers movie?
The anime? I can't recall. We watched so much stuff. I can't recall.
Dare to Be Stupid was played during the when they met. What the hell's his name? Come on, help me out here, Carl. The motorcycle guys on the junk planet.
Wreck-Gar,
yeah. There was a big celebration after they met them.
It's called the Planet of Junk, I think. It's called the Planet of Junk. Is percentage Planet of Junk is in XXXX vicinity or whatever. So
yeah, all right. So our next option, it's going to be a little different. It's got a little more of a Japanese flair.
Oh, or baby metal.
No, not baby metal. No. It is something that I think you guys are going to like. I think it sums up the attitude, the whole feeling of the show. So we're going to go ahead and listen to that. I'll mute myself so there's no feedback.
Oh, it's
Whoa.
Magical Girl Anime 35,000B.
Yeah, I'm with Ninja Kitty on this one.
What did he say?
No way.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't mind stuff like this, but this tune ain't catching me.
I mean, it just sounds like. I mean, it just sounds. You know, every time I listen to a Japanese song like this, I automatically start thinking of the kind of anime it belongs to.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, if you're gonna do that, you know, the best intro for that would be the opening for Die Guard. Do 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 do.
I feel more ashamed of myself for watching it now.
I mean, I can't take it seriously. Is that what you think we represent? Wow,
I think
if
if it was a more of an anime heavy Japanese influenced show, I think it would be okay, but
if it were a techno hentai or something, maybe, but this it's creepy. This is creepy.
I just don't think it's that catchy, though. To me, it's okay, but it's just not that catchy.
And the choreography sucks.
Well, that's typical Japanese choreographies, though.
All they're doing is spinning around. I mean, you know.
Classic J-pop.
All right. I'll make it stop. 56K warning said make it stop. I thought it would just be something goofy to throw in, so you guys would have something to laugh at.
Yeah, it's a magical girl anime where two high school students do stuff.
Oh, okay. They do stuff.
What kind of stuff?
And well,
oh my!
No, no. I'm cutting you off. No, not that one. No.
Little known
My butt is not that big.
Those two individuals in the video actually did go off to make a adult film in Japan.
Get out of here.
I swear to God.
Wow.
Those are the kind of facts.
Am I good or what?
That's a great fact, Tony. It's a great fact.
All right, so here is the third option. I think, in my opinion, it is the best option.
Oh.
Bring it.
All right, go on. Let's see it.
Oh my God! Look at his. Oh my God! Look at his balls. They are so big. He must be one of those gamer guys. Like, who understands that? Anyway?
No. 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 No.
I've never heard this before.
I knew it. I was gonna hate this.
I think Tony set us up, Carl.
He set us up.
Balls here, okay? The right one's Chuck, and the left one's Norris.
Tony, for that, you are not getting any sympathy out of me if Darius attacks you again. That's an awful song.
I think the choreography in this one's a lot better.
Well, that's not saying much.
balls. I see my balls.
The pelvic thrusting.
My balls be owning you tonight.
I mean, if you're gonna do anime with pelvic thrusts, there's only one you gotta go for. Jungle Deiko.
Big, big, big balls. Who's got them balls? I got them balls. Big, big, big balls. Big motherfucking balls. Let me just tell you a quick story, like about my balls, okay? They're big.
It's like the best part when she walks in.
And they're big. Big, big balls.
Guys, I'm so sorry he's making you watch this.
My balls need some sucking. My balls.
She starts
need
getting-
licking. My balls be swinging. My balls need some sucking. My balls need licking.
Okay, yeah, you're right. The choreography is better. The choreography is better, and that's what I hate.
Very sorry to all the women in the if there are any women in the chat.
Oh, they're all men. Come on. Well, maybe I don't know. I don't know that for a fact. I don't know that for. I'm generalizing. Sorry.
My balls, like they just don't care.
Yeah, if there are any women in the chat, we're sorry about this. See, my choices were infinitely better.
My balls. Balls!
I don't know. It's a tough choice now.
All right, so that last song was not an actual song. It is something they made for the show. Pure Ownage. The video that goes to it, that was actually a fan-made video. That's why the choreography is so on point. I just wanted to play that because I really like the show, Pure Ownage. I actually interviewed all the main cast. I know some people thought it was an annoying song, but I think it was pretty catchy myself. Luke says this is horrible. You're going to lose subs with these songs.
Oh, man, you are.
So, Dare to Be Stupid, then I'm assuming that's the preferred choice from everybody?
Yeah, I think it's unanimous.
Yeah.
Was there ever a choice?
I don't think there was. I think I should have led with this song and then had Dare to Be Stupid as the closer.
I'm pretty sure that qualifies under the Geneva Convention on grounds of cruel and inhumane punishment.
Now, see, 56K Warning got it. He downloaded those songs, those shows when I said dial up. Pure Ownage is one of the best web shows ever created. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. It's about gamers. It's about gaming. It's about trash talking.
Is it really that old? It
is that old.
Oh, okay.
I think it debuted in 2004. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Wow, that's old.
Year I graduated. All right.
The year my life ended, 2004, when I got married.
The moment he was entered marital bondage.
Oh yeah. So, does the chat have any other suggestions for what could be a possible theme
The
song for
Muppet
the
Show. The Muppet Show intro. It's even perfect with Stanton and Waldorf doing the commentary.
Those are the old fogies, right?
Yeah, those are the old gentlemen. Yeah.
So then I said,
So, what do you think? Any suggestions, OCG?
I can't think of anything offhand. I'd have to really sit down and think about it. Something that would really match the show, the tone of what we do here, what you do here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what we do here is just wing it, just be wild.
The minds of
Hell, you could play Voltron and everybody would be happy.
Mightiest of Machines. Sorry.
Ninja Kitty wants us to play Ghetto Boys while we smash the Amico show.
Okay. We can do
Computer
that.
Coder's wife said white and nerdy.
Ooh, that's really good. That's a great one. White and nerdy.
Yeah, except for I'm not white, so it would be kind of weird.
There you go.
I don't know. I mean,
Could just mean plain vanilla.
We could try Dig Dug by YT Cracker.
whatever. I've not played Dig Dug, so.
No, I'm talking about the song, Carl, not the game.
Oh.
That would be a short song.
I will agree, It is a nerd core song. Nerds decided to start rapping. They made some music.
Oh, I like this.
Oh no. Is that me? Okay, there we go.
Silent John incremental, another silent instrumental, the nerd rap existential. People compare me to MC Christopher a lot, but the fact is I predicted with significance. I'm the oldest geek rapper by far, save K&R, compiling kernels, open bracket, cause I rack it. And my teen nerds throw your laser pen in the air and wave it all around like you had no repercussions. Now follow instructions, Professor White's discussions consist of nothing but incoherent rambling and babbling, but you just don't take notes cause you never know what's happening. I'll drop a little nugget, a tidbit if you will. There were 4 United States presidents named Bill. Really? If you run out of hit points, the game will shout.
Running out.
If you dig this, then you dug this, cause I'm all about the nerd life, word life. If
Yeah,
you dig
I like this.
Then you dug this, cause
Yeah.
I'm all about the nerd life,
This is
word
really
life.
good. I think this should be it.
Then you
Yeah,
dug
me
this,
too.
Cause I'm all about the nerd life, word life. If you dig this, then you dug this, cause I'm all about the nerd life, word life. Yeah. Let me start again. Put
I
it
like
on like
that.
a
It's pretty
cardigan.
cool.
Swinging like my name was Mad Mardigan, which reminds me, Warwick Davis was Willow and a knee walk. Leonard Nimoy was Galvatron
Wow,
Spock.
they are
That ain't
nerdy.
typecast, I don't know
Willow.
what it. Talk about predestiny, nobody gets the best of me. I've only played one role my whole lifetime. The nerd lifeline, stream through a wicked pipeline. So no one can buy mine, cause mine is original and I write rhymes to burn on a CD, play in the mini-B. Soccer mom, yodel back, yodel at little me. I got a sidekick, I gotta stay connected. Watch out for my D-comma, you'll get infected. And you don't wanna be one of my bots, cause I see it all like Sauron the Cyclops. And I won't hesitate to drop your whole net block if you're acting up and dumber than a pet rock. I'm about this nerd life, as you can see, spreading like a virus on MP3. On MP3. STC. Shout out to Vic, Agnostic One, up in Silent John.
Yeah, the juxtaposition, that is it.
Nerd life,
I agree.
rapping calculator,
That's it.
HP48G. The G is for gangster. Digital snip, yeah. You know how we do.
Yeah, I agree. This is it.
That's damn catchy.
And I hate rap, so that says a lot.
That's nerd rap.
So I see we kind of like that one, huh?
Oh yeah. I love that one. I think everyone likes that one.
Yeah, that was great.
There's one more
Oh no.
from the same guy.
Oh, okay.
I wonder how many copyright claims we're going to get on this one now.
I don't know. Sorry.
That doesn't start until we get to the Amico chat, boys.
What'd they say? Let me look. Okay.
All right, I got the song up. It is not the official video because there is no official video for this particular song. So try to pay no attention to who's on the screen.
Oh, some Mega Man there.
Hey, hold up. I gotta unmute the site.
Sounds like some bubble man.
Okay, so the answer to Arioka's question, we are neither going to confirm nor deny.
I mean, you kind of have to. I don't know if I really like his whoever mixed this.
Left, right. Then
Okay, there we go.
Start, the screen goes white.
I don't like this one.
Cracker, the game genie. 8 bits with the 8-inch weenie. I don't break bricks, I'm not Mario, but I'm still old school like Atario. I'm the highly freestyly Dr. Wiley. Beat me 3 times and you win a smiley. Underground like the sewer where I kick it with rap. Yellow back Ninja Turtles, Cowabunga, where you at? Jump on the kid and the bricks where I'm landing. Gotta get the Triforce, gotta begin. And they called him the wizard in California.
This had to pre
2010. Had to warn ya, hit a patter on the power pad, track the field. Or be like who's dad and get your chest peeled. Nerd rap entertainment system. Please press start on controller 2. Nerd rap entertainment system. Please press play on your system.
Okay, I'm sorry, but there's no nerd that cares that much about the power pad.
Nerd rap entertainment system. Please press play on your system too. In between neighborhood laser tag.
Yeah, I agree, Sean. I agree.
Some double dragon, helicopter kick Bobo off the roof. Have all his henchmen.
This one's a little too hectic.
Then we butt heads with Battletoads. Double tapping right to run that foe. Sometimes I hit them with the double fist. Then pop those raps just like assist. It kinda sucks now cause my nest blinks red. I blow and blow but all my games are dead. Thank God for ROMs and Nesticle. Played at every geek rap festival. This is the nerd rap entertainment system. And I hope you like the rhyme I spit. Cause the Whitey Cracker stay nerd forever. If you wanna repeat, just hit reset. Nerd rap entertainment system. Please press start on controller 2. Nerd rap entertainment system. Please press play on your system 2. Nerd rap entertainment system. Please press start on controller 2. Nerd rap entertainment system.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, I agree, Ninja.
Nerd rap entertainment system. Please press start on controller 2. Nerd rap entertainment system. Please press play on your system 2. Nerd rap entertainment system. Please press start on controller 2. Nerd rap entertainment system. Please press play on your system 2. Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness.
So I take it you didn't like that last one, huh, Carl?
Oh, man.
I agree
So I
with
want to say,
I agree that you probably should have Max do a little bit of rapping. Take the Batman Returns for NES, which I think has one of the best intros, and it has a really really hard hitting beat, and get him to do a little rapping. There you go.
Arioka is asking, are we getting approval from the creator to use their theme? Obviously, we would reach out to anybody, whoever song we pick, we would reach out and try to get approval. If not, we would probably just use them until we were monetized, and then we would just get a real song.
Now that's an idea. Remember, if you get too many copyright strikes, you get your channel taken away. So,
yeah, we don't want that.
Why not just use one of the copyright-free songs?
We could use a copyright free song, or I could just have a song commissioned directly for the show. You know, something specifically created for
Yeah,
us.
that's true.
I think maybe this was just an excuse to listen to some music on the stream. I'm not sure. You know, sometimes we gotta have a little fun. You know, break things up,
True.
build the anticipation up towards the Amico talk, as it were.
All right. It's time.
It is almost time.
All right.
Now I think it's time. I think it's time that we
All
talk
right.
about the thing that everybody knows why we came here for. You know, I got to
The
set up
meat and potatoes.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
All that was just appetizer. Now we're getting into the meal.
Amico no access, baby. Oh, yeah.
And of course, if anybody that wants to join in on the conversation, let me know now so I can add you, send you a link.
Hey, Ninja Kitty, come on.
Yeah, come on, Ninja.
Come on. Go, Ninja. Go, Ninja. Go. Go, Ninja. Go, Ninja. Go.
Maybe I should just clip that Carl singing.
There
Go
you
Ninja.
go.
I certainly ramble a lot when I'm singing, so.
Everybody should just have intro songs.
56K
Already
wants
got
to do. He wants to do that. That I want to get that Tommy from CU Podcast. Maybe do an interview with him. I think that would be entertaining on the show.
Oh, the guy that calls in at the end of the segments?
Yeah,
That Tommy.
that time. That's why I said CU Podcast, Tommy. But if nobody wants to get in, we'll just go ahead and jump into the next segment.
Tell a lie and then another. Come on now.
This is where I
to do
slap.
the Amico.
This is where I slap my hands together and rub them like Mr. Miyagi. I'm ready.
All right. So, what's first?
So obviously, there's a lot of Amico news to go over. We gotta talk about the incoming Amico delay. We gotta talk about the fabulous CU podcast video, the response to the video.
Which was fantastic. It was all fantastic. It's a great week in Amico news, gaming in general. There's a lot of great stuff going on.
So where do you want to start? We'll start it off with you, Carl. We'll kick it to you. What's going on in Amico land?
Well, you know, something that did have Canadian Gamer did make an interesting video that kind of had me thinking, and a lot of people said a lot of interesting stuff, and I think they got Koch Media to make the physical media components and all the various accessories. That's what I think happened.
Well, I do know that Coke Media, I believe it's pronounced Coke, not Koch. Could be Koch.
I don't know.
But I do know
Koch
that
Media.
they're in charge of the press releases for the Europe distribution and all that. So any Amico press releases are going through them at the current time. They do publish some games. They have some other interest. I'm not sure if Intellivision is taking advantage of them for that or just for the publicity in the press releases at this time. I don't know.
Lie, Tommy. Lie, Tommy. Lie,
No,
Tommy.
it came out again that was it them who said that there was going to be, I mean, obviously we've all speculated that it's going to be RFID for a while now, and then it's just going to be a code in a box. And I don't know if it was in a video or if I was reading that's come across again. Has Tommy corrected that again? Because I know he's corrected it once. When someone said it was going to be just a code in a box, he went on kind of a tangent to make sure that everybody knew that it wasn't just a code in a box. So I don't know if Tommy's released anything saying that, correcting that again, because it's the second time I've heard this. I heard this a couple of months ago.
Yeah, Tommy hasn't come out and said anything about the code in the box lately. I know he just mentioned he did that whole Twitter, Reddit, Atari Age post where he was saying that he basically posted the Hanjipish stuff where we got the 50,000 physical media boxes done.
Right.
He didn't really go into details though about anything else as far as the physical media.
Okay. I will say that these boxes, I'm kind of impressed. I was expecting maybe like when you guys go buy like a single, like a CD back in the day. You guys remember those, CDs? And they would come just kind of in that flat, like fold over. I kind of expected that. I wasn't expecting it to be the size it was. So I was kind of, I'll give Tommy and Intellivision credit there. I was kind of blown away by what I seen because I wasn't expecting that. But I mean, to come back down, it still is a code in a box. And I think a lot of people are assuming that it's going to be a code in a box, maybe a piece of artwork, and maybe a keychain.
Code in the box, code in the box. Look what you bought. It's a code in the box.
I don't think it's going to be a code in the box. As we think of it traditionally, a code in the box would just be like a slip of paper or a piece of plastic with the code written on it. I think it's going to be a lenticular card that has RFID in it. And I think that's where he's getting the whole, well, it's not a code in the box. See, it's different. It's physical media because it's a physical item that you have to tap onto the Amico in order to make it work.
And that's where I've been the entire time, was just like make it like old Intellivision and offer the overlays. And that is like, boom, it hits the nostalgia rush, right? You open the box and you're like, wow, I got what looks like the original Astro Smash overlay, which would be really cool in my opinion. And the bigger problem now is that I'm hearing that these are all already preloaded. So it really raises more questions now that, wait a minute, are these games that I will be able, like, let's say I don't want Astro Smash, or okay, Astro Smash is packed in. Let's say I don't want Finnegan Fox, right? And Finnegan Fox is preloaded onto my console. I touch it and boom, it's there. But what if there are, a dozen games or so that you don't want? Are these going to be removable? Are these, are these going to be, if I factory reset my console, are these always going to be, programmed into my console? That's where my issue comes in. Now, granted, these games are not going to take up a lot of space. It still just kind of rubs me the wrong way that they're already there. And then it really begs the question of what's the future of their media. So
if I might say something, I don't think they're preloaded. I think you have to download them. At least that's what Nick mentioned. It's basically it. Huh?
I keep hearing it go back and forth, so I'm not exactly sure. But that I was a video or something that I watched recently that I heard that. I don't know if it's true, but that's at least what I heard.
Yeah, I don't think they're preloaded either. From my understanding, the 6 packing games are preloaded.
Yes, those are preloaded, and there's no physical media of the 6 packing games.
Right.
And then my understanding is you would tap the RFID, it would automatically tell the console that you bought the game, so it would start the download process.
Right, to put it in the queue.
So I think because they download so fast, it might be like you tap it, and a couple minutes later it's downloaded, so it might seem like it's already on there, but it's not, as far as I know.
Right.
Because if all the games were on there, then that would be a total disaster when they get hacked. And
there's no way the network components are fast.
Oh, there it is.
They say it is, but I don't think that'll be the case at all. I think it'll be like PS3 tech or some networking tech or something.
So either way, you have to download.
Oh
these
yeah,
games.
you have to download.
I mean, you need internet. Now, granted, it's not going to be a 5 gig download, but you're still going to need internet. And I agree with when Pat and Ian bring it up that this is not as simple as Tommy's been saying for the last couple of years. So this is something that I'm getting a call, guys. You have to give me a second.
Okay.
Yeah, as you can see on the screen, this is a screenshot from the video. You can see that it is not a solid box. It has this little indent in there on the sides. It's like a 3-fold, almost like a book. It is very thin, so I don't think any kind of toy or any really beefy extras are going to be inside the box. They almost look like about DVD size, maybe a little smaller, maybe a little thinner. It's hard to tell.
Okay, that looks kind of cool. That sounds cool. That would convince me to buy them.
Now, from my understanding, now this is just going off of things that Tommy has said in the past, other statements from people like Nick Richards and people who've seen it, the physical media. It's my understanding that there's not going to be an instruction booklet inside the games, at least not for the first run of physical media, because that is too expensive to do. So there might be a printout on the inside when you open up your box. On the inside, say left cover might be the instruction booklet, just printed out. Obviously, these are simple games, so it would just be like press X to jump, press the screen to pause, whatever, move right and left. And there might be a little bio about the game, the story of the game, a little paragraph written on the inside. But it's my belief that there's not going to be any like instruction booklets like them, like the old NES games had. Like I said, it is pretty thin, so I don't think there's going to be any toy in there that it's going to have any kind of weight or any heft. Again, that would be too expensive for them to create a separate toy mold for all the different games, for the 8 different games. So it's probably going to be a lenticular card that has, depending on what game it is, like the old Astro Smash, their card might be the new version, then you move it and you can see the old version of Astro Smash, and then it's got the RFID chip in it. Something like Brain Duel might just have the 2 characters on it, something like that. What are you thinking, Carl?
Well, I mean, it's a possibility, but I'm thinking maybe it's like a little binder with information or something. And you get the overlay. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking, at least.
Well, I don't think it's going to be an overlay because, one, the controller screen needs to be touched. You need to physically touch it. So putting something in the way would probably wouldn't be good.
It could be anything. I hate giving that answer, but we'll never know until we actually see a reveal.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I mean, we're getting closer and closer to the proposed launch. Tommy said months ago that we would know more in the coming months, and we've learned no real new additional information about physical media other than it's not physical media, it's now a physical product. I mean, they have changed the language that they're using to describe the physical games, which I guess is a good thing because, we pretty much guessed from the start that it wasn't going to be an actual physical game. I know that since I do have the Amico shell, I know that there's no slot, there's no any sort of entry point for physical media other than the RFID. For the 6K warning says 32 gigabytes of internal storage with bloatware. Yeah, it's really possible. Luke says the only preloaded games will be the 6 pack-ins. That is my understanding. Anything to add to the physical media discussion, Carl?
No, I don't really have an opinion on it, truth be told.
Do you think that it's going to be worth the extra price for the physical media?
Won't know that until they reveal it.
Do you think it's? I know they said that they did a run of 50,000 boxes, but there was no clarification as to if it was 50,000 per game or all 8 games, 50,000, some sort of combination thereof. So I think that could be pretty telling as to how many consoles they think they're going to get out.
Yeah. I think you're probably right. At least for now. I mean, as mentioned, it would take a reveal or some such.
Gary's back.
Sorry about that, gentlemen.
Oh, I mean, yay!
So
Sorry about that.
50,000 boxes, 8 games. That would be 6,250 boxes per game if divided evenly. So can we expect only 6,200 or so Amicos getting made in this first run? Because obviously you wouldn't make more games than Amicos. That would make no sense.
Right.
I think the number of games is definitely proportional to the amount of Amicos available.
I mean, it depends on how you look at Tommy. I mean, there's a group that believes everything that he says, and there's a group that thinks he's a snake oil salesman. So it looks at how much are they going to make off these games? Is it worth it to kind of just push those out there? Because it's not like stuff like this hasn't happened in the past. I mean, I could see it happening. I don't want to think that that's the route they'd go, because that would be awful to just see these games hanging on shelves and, no, or at least being offered up with no Amicos. So it seems kind of as backwards, but.
Well, the games are supposed to be collectibles. They're supposed to be for collectors. Right. So.
But this
is why I think they could offer stuff like keychains, and they could sell it as just what it is. Say, hey, look, even if you're not playing the game or getting the game, you're getting a like you said, Tony, a nice collectible that and that nostalgia hits these guys. And like I said, it would hit me too, because I'm a big Intellivision lover. I love my system, grew up with it, but at the same time, it's like I got so many options these days that it's just hard to allocate my money into something I just don't see being around. So.
Well, what I'm wondering is, because it's RFID, do you think that it's going to be possible to scan the code in the box, the RFID, without opening the boxes?
No, because a lot of companies now, I mean, with Amiibos, I was big into Skylanders. Skylanders was passable. Amiibos, you can't do it, which really upset me, and that's why my Shovel Knight's still in the box, my Shovel Knight Trio is still in the box, my Metroid and Samus are still in the box. Thank God for that. The prices have been shooting up, but yeah, I mean, that's why all that stuff I kind of want to keep. It's so pretty, these, but like I think a lot of guys, if you're able to scan these, they will be left sealed in a box. I mean, there are going to be guys who obviously want to open this, and for the most part, that's what I do with most of my new stuff that I get. I open it, even if I'm not going to play it right away. I want to dive into all the goodies. But I guess only time will tell, I hope that they do stuff like that, because I could always say, like, if you don't do that, you run the risk of somebody buying that product, scanning that card, and possibly say, hey, maybe I just wanted the game. I can buy 10 of these games, scan them all, take them back to the store. So I don't see them not putting like a foil in there or whatever to keep that from being scanned. But I guess we'll see.
To Gary's point, are the games going to be returnable? Because I could see somebody buying them. I know that everyone says, oh, they're only $10 games, they're only $20. Who cares? No one's going to steal them. But people steal shit all the time. I used to work retail. People steal everything.
Oh, everything. And I've worked retail too. And it's if they can get away with it, they will. You buy $10, $20 games, that's $200 worth of, that's $200 in tax. So you get your 10 games, you take them back, and now you got $200 to blow on something else if that was, if that's what they wanted to do. So I definitely see something being put in these boxes to keep people from just popping that the cardboard box or whatever, sealed up in the shrink wrap on your system. So at least that's my thought.
Here's where I was going with that. Let's say that they they have it wrapped up so you can't scan it in the box. I can still open the box, take it home, open the box, tap it on my Amico, put it on my game, put the card back inside the box, close the box, take it to GameStop, say, hey, I changed my mind. I don't want this. I didn't like the game. Are they going Are they going to have to
But-
check everything and be like, well,
Well-
this is tied to your system, sir?
Well, my understanding is like if you go and buy a Nintendo eShop card, that's not non-refundable, right?
Right.
So if they go along that route, I think that's where they say, "Hey, all sales are final. You can't return this. We don't know exactly. You know, they have no way to test it." So I think that's the route they'll go with it.
Yeah, like Luke says, how would GameStop know if it was removed from your console and back of the card? Even not just GameStop, but let's say I put them online. Hey, I got, I'll sell them for $5. I'm selling all my Amico games, $5 each. You get them, and how do you know? Hey, these are tied to Tony's console. Well, fuck you.
Right.
How do you know? I'll be like, no, it's not. You're a liar.
Right.
So I think there's going to be some issues with this just because the way it works and the way that, he wanted physical media, but it's not really physical media. Now people are going to find weird ways to take advantage of it.
Now, this is being done by Topps, right? The cards themselves.
They had a partnership, quote unquote, with Topps, but I believe that was just for gift cards.
Okay.
Not for the physical media. I mean, it could be also for the RFID cards. Topps
I would
does make some.
Yeah, and I would assume that they would, if they're going to do gift cards, that they would go the same route. And at least, like, the way I look at it is, like, how could you not at least protect your product in the box? And then if that's going to be the case, you have to have a backup plan so that scammers and people who are trying to get over on you don't get over on you.
Yeah, but like I said, we don't know for sure. Tommy releases information in very weird ways, just little tidbits here and there. He doesn't go into a big clarification. He doesn't answer questions or follow-ups. It's just, this is what I'm telling you. If you don't like it, just fucking go fuck yourself.
Which
Fuck
is that a good segue to cornhole? Go fuck yourself.
Not yet. Luke Skywalker says, aren't these being made by Technicolor? I believe the boxes were made by Technicolor.
Yeah, assembled.
I don't know if the thing inside the box was made. It's really hard to tell because even from the video, it's hard to tell if the boxes have something in them yet, or if they're just sealing them up, packaging them, sending them somewhere else to then fill them with something and repackage them.
I would assume that they were assembled there. At least I don't know why we'd put a shrink wrap on it. I guess you package it a different way. I know you want to keep the boxes nice, but I would assume that those are packaged and ready to go. And if that's the case, if those are packaged and ready to go, I do think we're gonna get a soft launch here. I know it's like it's hard to believe, but with that being done and him starting to just release a little bit more information here and there, it's pointing towards a soft launch, which is what I kind of had a inkling of for the last probably year.
Nick is readying his elephant gun, and Tommy is readying his Tony effigies to set on fire.
Yeah, I don't know. We should segue into this soft launch because once again we are on the last day of July. We were told that we would know by the end of July.
He said in a week was like what, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, well, originally it was at the start of July and then middle of July, end of July, maybe August.
I mean, and it's ridiculous at this point. I just want to know. It's like, is it coming out? Is it not coming out? The people that have money into this should know. They should demand, to know.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, people have pre-ordered. It's not just a thing where it's a delay where no one's pre-ordered. Lots of people have pre-ordered. Lots of people have put in serious money on it as far as investments. I do think they should be forthcoming and let us know if there's a delay or not. I mean, I have a pre-order for an Amico. I'm waiting to see what's going on.
Now, this is what's been rubbing me the wrong way because, and I want to mention it, and I told you before when I sent you a message, was the play date. And I was there for the first 30 minutes, man, and it was chaos. and they had some issues within the first, I think, 20 minutes with overseas. A lot of people in the UK didn't get. They had an issue, I guess, from what I understand from what I was reading on Twitter was that Panic had. Set all this stuff up, and they made sure that 10 o'clock everything would be good to go, and that they wouldn't, the servers wouldn't go down or whatever they were using. And I guess another company had released a surprised product on that day, so they had a little, a bumpy start. But man, they sold 20,000 pre-orders in 17 minutes, and I was excited. I was very excited. And you know what? I'm sorry, Tommy. That is how you do a pre-order. That's how you get people excited. There's something surrounding that I'm really excited about, that little handheld.
Those cheap bastards. Those miserable, cheap bastards cannot afford to put a backlit screen on it.
Ooh.
Sorry, I remember the Game Boy, and that really pisses me off. So.
Well, what's that? I kind of dipped out there. What did you say, Carl?
The Playdate. I hate the Playdate. It doesn't even have a backlit screen.
But okay, so let me. Can I convince you? Can I sell you on the Playdate?
Yes, sell me on. Okay. I'm willing to listen.
So okay, Here's what I think is going to happen with the Playdate. They hit their bumpy road, what was it, last year, and it was it got delayed, had their delay. I think because of that delay, they gave you an extra 12 games, bumping it up to 24. They're still advertising that there are seasons. So I do believe you're going to get 24 games. Now you break that down, 24 games, depending on how much you think a game should be worth of that caliber. I think $5 is okay for me. Others think that $2 is not too bad. And when you calculate 24 games, that's a good portion of money, which you're really paying for in the unit is maybe $60-$70, depending on how you look at it, maybe 50. Now you're not, like they said, you're not going to like all those games, but you're going to have a lot of fun. And I think you got Teenage Engineering behind this. You got a Crank on the side of the bad boy. The thing just reminds me of when I was a kid and I did flip notes in school. And it does have that hipster artistic feel to it. I will agree on that. But it is something that reminds me of, it's like a Game Boy mixed in with like a Game & Watch. And really, if you listen to anything that they've been putting out, that's kind of what they were going for at the beginning of this.
I mean, my problem is I have horrible memories of trying to find that perfect bright spot at night when I'm playing Tetris on my Game Boy.
So it's the screen, though. If this thing had a backlit,
purely the screen. Okay, I would be a buyer in a minute if it had a backlit screen.
So the super reflective display is a lot. It's hard to imagine because a lot of people who are imagining the Game Boy are trying to think about, well, even myself, I just modded a Game Boy Advance. I put in one of those funny playing screens, and it's definitely, in this day and age, you need something that has that brightness, because it's just that crisp color comes through, the vibrant, lucid color comes through. But you're talking about black and white. Now, this memory display, the reflective display, is going to be a lot nicer than you would think. I know like I said, a lot of people are thinking Game Boy Pocket, Game Boy. And it's very much a hassle to play those old systems. In fact, I can't do it. That's why I don't have any in my collection, because they're just kind of obsolete at this point. But I do believe, from what I've been hearing, and at least if you look at a lot of product images, if you look at these images that they're putting out, the screen looks absolutely gorgeous. I mean, granted, you need decent lighting, but it's very sharp and it looks very good. Now, granted, you're only running white and black, and I mean, do you really need a backlight for that?
I mean, here's the thing. For me, I keep my room in darkness.
Darkness, yeah. So it's gonna be a tough play for sure. You're definitely gonna have to have a lamp, or maybe a little bit of candlelight.
I have a lamp. I have an emergency. I have kind of like a lamp, but I don't like it's, especially in the summer. I don't like to generate too much heat in my room, and That's one of the things that really bothers me. I just have these memories of that awful screen.
Would you be willing to sacrifice that screen to get some cutting edge? And I know that's hard. It sounds like a lot of people don't believe that it's going to have cutting edge stuff, but I think it's going to have some apps that people really want to whether they be 30 minutes long or an hour long. I think there's going to be a lot of people who are interested in that crank, and they're going to say, hey, look, this reminds me of when I doodled on a sketch pad, and there's just something about this that has that Nintendo quality that feels like not too innovative, but different.
Not if it's the same kind of people who like Dark Souls games.
Oh, well, Panic's in Portland, so these are not your typical. I mean, these are, I don't want to say hipster, but I think they kind of got that. That's, kind of what they're known for, is edgy kind of stuff. So I'm excited. I think if the screen is not terrible and I can do away with it in somewhat dim lighting while I'm laying down or sitting around, I think I can manage and it won't be too bad. If this was like a Game Boy Pocket style screen, yeah, I would totally agree with you. But I think the technology has moved forward since then.
But I'm not the one buying it. So if you're the one buying it, you like it, more power to you.
Right. And I think that goes with the Amico. It's the same thing. And I think those two have been kind of battling it out. A lot of people have said, what is Panic doing? What is the Playdate doing? They had a delay and they had all this stuff. But again, their marketing has been spot on, at least in my opinion. I think the way, you don't have anybody spending too much time on, hey, this is I think Cable and a guy named Frank run Panic. They don't spend too much time talking about themselves. They actually let what they had ready to go talk for itself. They've done a stream where they showed how the SDK worked and how you were going to be able to program and do what you needed to do on this. And I think that is really the selling point for me. I think I've been waiting probably 5 years. I don't have the time to learn programming right now. And I'm really dying to get into C, because I really do want to make, I've had, something on the burner for 5 years. I've been doing a lot of art, animation, composing tracks, stuff like that.
I could see the Playdate doing really well in computer classes in high school.
Okay.
And middle school. And, I went to the school, and that's one of the things the computer teacher did was he taught people how to program in BASIC.
Okay.
So
and I think go ahead.
Well, I'm thinking that would be really good for schools.
I mean, this could really push the industry forward in a unique way. I mean, if they make a storefront, if they made this just to sell the unit, and they're letting, I mean, granted, there's going to be a huge homebrew market. They did say that, like I said, there was 20,000 units or pre-orders sold in 17 minutes. They said they're really excited for their fan base because it looks like it has a great following at this point. After pre-orders, they were really excited by how many people were actually excited by this. So,
I'm curious. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, versus the Amico. I wanted to be on Amico's side. I wanted to be on Tommy's side, but especially we'll get into cornhole in a bit. I have no faith left in it. It's at this point, it's dead, and I'm not excited.
What I'm thinking people will end up doing with the Playdate, I think they'll do sell them with the screen replaced.
Oh, I think they'll do that in time. I think there will be certain people who find a way to maybe put a backlit screen in there. But I think once it gets in people's hands, they're going to be blown away by this. I think it's a lot better once you see it in person than, a lot of people are like, no backlit. I actually had to do the research when I first found out about it. I said, there's no backlit. It looks like there's a backlit, at least to me, when I see that screen. Granted, it's being, like I said, it's being played in light and it's a super reflective screen, but and I guess is that what they put in Kindles? I'm not sure. I guess that's what I'm hearing. I don't have a Kindle, so
Kindle actually has a backlit screen.
Okay.
But and I tell you, the refresh rate is so awful. It cannot do well with games.
That's one of the things they say about this screen is has a really nice refresh rate. So, and that's why it manages. There's none of that ghosting and no screen tearing on, none of that stuff. At least from what I've seen in the demos, and at least from what they're saying. So, on that front, it looks really good.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I don't know who else is excited. And I'll review it. I'll put it out there.
Excited. I'm really want to be excited. There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm kind of staying out of this discussion because I haven't really, I didn't pre-order Playdate. It's not for me. I do know that no one from
Playdate is going to kick your Amico's ass.
Yeah, no one from Playdate has called me a gaming racist or has threatened me in any way. So.
And then you know what's like I said, it's pretty bold because these guys are in Portland, Oregon. So take that with a grain of salt.
You're forgetting about Portland's history in slave trading. I think it's pretty much equal.
Look at that. They got a birding game on Playdate.
Oh yeah, Casual Birder. Yes, Casual Birder. And we don't know now if you really dive in, and I've dived into a lot of these games. The executive golf looks really good. I'm not sure if they showed Hypermeteor or if they showed I think it's called Star Sled. On when they updated for the pre-orders, I think they had a still image of either the Meteor game.
Are these the games? That looks really good.
Yeah. If you, I mean, how much research have you? I've dug deep into this, and from everything that I've watched and read and looked at, and just from I know everybody's going to say, well, they got passion, and they have a lot of passion, and so does Tommy to an extent, but also they haven't put their foots in their mouths. They haven't said anything stupid
and blamed it on their heritage.
I mean, the list goes on, but they've made the right decisions. In fact, some of the videos that they've made that, throwing stop motion animation to give their little Playdate character, I mean, granted, Amico has the splat or not the splash screen, but the Amico title screen or whatever. I do like that. That's one thing I do like about Amico, but Panic gave the Playdate life. They just brought it to life in a way that Amico it hasn't done it for me for Amico. And I wanted Amico to be more towards the retro side. And I know they're not aiming towards guys like me. At least I don't know. I think a lot of the sales are going to go towards the older crowd, guys that are maybe in their 40s, mid 40s, 50s, the guys who grew up with that. That's where I think the biggest bulk of their Intellivision sales are going to come from. I really don't see them capturing the cell phone market, but I think, man, they had marketing like Panic did in the Playdate. I think they would be at a different point, even with everything that's been coming out about Intellivision. I think if Tommy chose what to show and what not to show, and would have actually not shown the cornhole and would have pumped up the boxes more and the physical media, I think we would be excited. But they kind of take a step forward and 3 steps back. You go and show that stuff, but then you go and show cornhole, and that with John Alvarado, it would just rubbed me the wrong way, and I lost all faith after that video.
I tell you the problem with cornhole. It does not come with a free 6-pack of beer.
To answer Carl's question, you do need a light to play the Playdate. Ars Technica and
yes,
another site have reviewed it. That's another thing that
Jeff and Giant Bomb, Jeff Gershman and Giant Bomb.
Yeah, Giant. That's the other side I was thinking of. So, unlike the Amico, which has gone out to
nobody, right?
Nobody. No one's done a demo. No one's been given a unit to play around with and check out and review.
I don't even think they've gone out to. I mean, do developers really have a console? Did we confirm that developers even? Because the Playdate's been out in developers' hands for over a year, I believe.
How much is the Playdate anyway?
$179, and I didn't get charged tax. I don't understand why I didn't get charged tax. I was $179 and shipping, at least here in Michigan, and they're in Portland, Oregon. I don't know exactly if it's coming off the port and coming straight to you, how that's going to go, but it was $15, which was kind of expensive, but I guess they're handling a lot of their their shipping stuff kind of personally, so that's why it was kind of pricier. But I didn't mind. And then they offer a deal where you can get the case that goes on, the purple magnetic case that usually costs, I think, $29, and if you were to buy it bundled, that is around 200-ish, and then that's, you know, before shipping. So then you got to add, you know, maybe another $10, $15, $20 for your shipping. So you're at around probably $220 with the case.
If I knew they were going to do RPGs, I would probably consider it.
Oh, there's a few RPGs, and there's actually, if like I said, if you dig, they have like an old school dungeon crawler, kind of like NES style, like that old school, if you like that. So, I mean, if you dig into these games, there are a lot of unique looking little titles that might not be, they're not, you know, it's not like having a Switch or, you know,
I mean,
something high quality, but it really hits that Game Boy itch.
My light is so close. I'm touching it right now. That's where I usually keep that's how close my lamp always is. It's a 3 light lamp, so
I think if you've got some decent lighting in your room, I think you're going to be okay. I don't think it's going to be the best experience. Now, if you're out and about and you're outside, and like a lot of people say, you're on a bus or you're going on the train, or you're taking a stroll, and maybe you got, you know, 5 minutes in between, you're taking a break, boom, you pull it out of your pocket, and that sunlight is really going to give you what you need. And because this is so sharp, and because it's that nice reflective screen, that you're going to
They need to learn from the master himself. They need to be rude to people, kind of like that Italian dictator from World War II.
That guy.
Well, what's his name? Damn. Mussolini, that's right. Mussolini Tallarico. There we go.
Well, here's the thing. Playdate and Amico are on two different ends of the spectrum. They're definitely not going after the same crowd. And I think there is no comparison as far as the experiences that they're bringing to the table. But I think where you can compare them is they're both small companies looking to carve a market, carve their niche.
Yep.
And we got one that is basically in your face, very loud, very rude, and aggressive. And you got another company that is quiet, reserved, keeping things to their official channel, not showing up in your face and not calling you a gaming racist or a communist for not wanting to play their games.
Or psychopath.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely a nicer approach, and I'll tell you what, they could have the Tommy T approach, and I'd probably, like I said, like in my videos, Tommy could have been the worst person ever. He could call people every name in the book. As long as his product speaks for itself, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Especially since they claim that they're going after the guys who are watching this show, they're not going after. So at the end of the day, if his product was of pure quality, I wouldn't care. But I don't see it that way. And when you stick your foot in your mouth, I just get a bad taste. I just get a bad taste of what's coming for people who have.
What are you doing with Tommy Tallarico's foot in your mouth?
Well, I got on the screen in case anyone can't read it. Maybe it's too small. You guys can't see it on the screen. But this was a comment from Tommy Tallarico when he was asked about the play date. Now read it just in case you guys can't see it.
Yes, please.
It says, as you mentioned, we are building something very different and for a very different audience. And not to put down Playdate in any way, shape, or form, because I absolutely love the product and the people making it. But a lot more people know about Amico than Playdate right now.
Ooh.
A lot more people are following us, creating content about us, good or bad, etc. Neither of us have spent, I'm guessing, any advertising dollars for our products. Yet, a lot more people are excited and creating daily content about us. I think that just goes to show that the engaging I do and the methodology has been a lot more successful in terms of getting the word out and getting people excited and supporting the product before ever spending a single dime on advertising. And in the image, you can see that Playdate on Twitter, they have 62.4 thousand followers, whereas Intellivision Entertainment has 5,500, almost 5,600 followers.
Remember, that's
Playdate,
the quiet, reserved crowd.
right? Playdate has 2,518 gamers in their subreddit. Amico has 1,200 in their subreddit.
Can I translate?
Go ahead.
My name is Tommy Tallarico. You know, my voice is so amazing that just listening to it makes me arouse myself. And the only regret in life that I have is not listening to myself perform live. To quote a certain musician out there, there is no company greater than Intellivision because I, Tommy Tallarico, have said so.
Tommy's living on the edge.
So I thank me very much for saying this, and you are wrong in every way. If you disagree with me, and if you so much as disagree with me, I will send the CFO out there to hunt your ass with his elephant gun.
All right, Kyle.
It should have just been short. It should have just been short and sweet, like the old SNL clip of the David Spade and what's her name saying, "Bye bye."
Yeah, and as you can see, Playdate has sold 20,000 units in less than 20 minutes.
Less than
Intellivision
20 minutes.
took 10,000 VIP edition pre-orders in a few days.
Here's an interesting question: How many people who pre-ordered Intellivision canceled, as opposed to the canceled pre-orders for Playdate?
And the real kicker is how many of those people who were looking forward to Amico canceled their pre-orders and put it on a Playdate.
Ninja Kitty says that the unofficial Playdate Discord also has a ton more people engaged in it. And from my understanding, you could only pre-order 2 Playdates.
Yes. Yep.
Whereas the Amico, we know that they were allowing as many pre-orders as you wanted. Some people boasting that they got 6 and 7 Amicos on pre-order. So Playdate, even if everybody on Playdate ordered 2, that's 10,000 customers. Whereas the Amico, we know for a fact that they don't have 10,000 customers. They might have somewhere in the line of 5,000 customers.
5,000, and I've been saying that for 2 years.
We got to talk about that for a minute. What loser in their right mind is going to brag about having 60 Amico pre-orders?
I said 6, not 60.
Okay.
Sorry, 6.
Even 6 is quite a bit. That's all. Well, I'll tell you what. Some of the guys on the other side of the fence have been. When the hate did really start pouring in, they said, "Hey, look, I'm going to buy 2 consoles. I'll buy 3 consoles. I'll buy as many games." I know, and I don't want to throw Chuck or call him out, but I guess I am calling him out. He did say, "Hey, look, I'm gonna." DJC said, "I'll buy. I don't know, when I'm standing there and I see him on the shelf, I might just buy the whole shelf." Granted, he might be being he's embellishing, but it just rubs me like these guys want to prop it up like it's something it's not. On the other side, a lot of people really haven't been propping up the Playdate. It's been mixed, but I thought at the end of the day, the day that would come, pre-order day, and we'll know how popular this thing really is. And to me, 17 minutes, 20,000 pre-orders, that's fantastic. And they're not releasing the numbers, but
I mean, it's like I said, I think the hardcore people who like to mod their stuff will add that backlit screen on it.
Oh, they'll find a way. They'll probably find a way.
They'll find a way.
I don't know how you'll be able to
fix the flaws.
The problem is it's so compact, and there's not as much space left for stuff like that. Versus something like if you're getting into a Game Boy Advance or Game Boy, there's a lot of room to tinker around in there. This thing is pretty compact, so if somebody does, it's gonna be a feat in itself.
we'll see what happens. Maybe they'll go as far as transferring everything to a new shell. I don't know.
It's going to be my goal to convince you, Carl, that the Playdate is for you.
We got
Yeah,
Amico
well,
Day channel here. According to the Amico Day channel, it says on June 1st, the Intellivision order numbers were 4,700 from the website itself. On July 2nd, it was up to 4,900. Yeah, I don't know if the order numbers are in order, if the order numbers are reflective of how many orders they had on just pre-orders, if they're reflective of everything ever ordered from Intellivision. I do remember my pre-order was in the 4,200s or something around there. So it could very well be that they only have like 4,600 customers.
Now, I know that at least my order number, or at least what it said PD, and there wasn't a hashtag next to it, but it's a PD, and it was like 8,500 and some odd number. That's where I was at. Now, I don't know if that really meant I was around 8,000, but I got in within, as soon as they opened up the pre-order. There was a little bit of fumbling on the website, and they redirected us. I got my order in as quick as I could, and like I said, man, 17 minutes, 20,000 pre-orders is. I'm happy about it because I really do see a community coming around that system, and that can only be good, especially when it's open for everybody. So,
well, I'll tell you something. I'm the sort of guy who would pay the price for the Playdate. It's not the price that bugs me. It's
that screen.
It's just, I mean, I have, maybe after I get my eye surgery, if all things turn out well, maybe I'll consider buying one.
Carl, do you read a lot of manga? You read a lot of manga?
Yeah. No, not really, but I've read it before. It's not impossible.
But do you like that kind of style of artsy? That artsy, like if you read a book, would you rather read a book, or would you rather read like a manga? I guess I'm saying, would you rather have that style?
Oh, I'd rather read the manga. The manga, just because it's easier to,
And that's what, to me, it feels like something like that, something out of like a comic. You know what I mean? It's got that sharpness, black and white. It's just unique. I know it's definitely a niche system, but it's definitely got that appeal to me.
I'll consider it. I mean, it would have to wait till January or something like that.
Yeah, and if you go and pre-order right now, they did say that it's money back guaranteed. They don't for any reason. And if you do actually go and pre-order right now, they have obviously smashed past that 20,000 initial production unit. So if anybody does go do a pre-order right now, they will have to expect it to come in 2022 because they're sold out for the late 2021 release.
I would just wait until it comes out, to be honest. Yeah, but I would consider it. As long as it's easy to navigate through the shop and everything.
So right now I think they're undecided exactly how they're going to release future content. And like I said, they're going to offer you 24 games from the start. I do believe there will be a second season to offer another 12. And in fact, I've done the math, and from everything I've seen, there are about 35 or 36 games that I've counted, and that's the 24 initially at launch, and then the few things like the Lucas Pope game, the Mars After Midnight that's coming out, Real Steel, games like Robot Fishing, Daily Driver. These are games that aren't listed on their website, but that have been shown in multiple videos. So I do expect at least another season, and that's going to be the real question: is what are they going to charge for another season, another 12 games, which is one game a week after the initial 2 games a week once they get past that 24. But they do seem very excited to have this SDK release and have other people at least side load your content that you might get from somebody else.
Yeah, that's an interesting question.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with all the way that Playdate is working as far as future content and all that good stuff. Like I said, it's not for me.
That's okay. Nothing wrong with that.
He wants
not
the
gonna
Mussolini
stop me now.
system.
No, you will like it.
I'm gonna have Panic sending me emails telling me how I gotta like it.
You see that guy over there with the elephant gun? He will Dick Cheney your ass if you don't agree with everything he says.
Oh, that reminds me of the Family Guy episode for the 5% bit. The 5% of my boot up your ass.
Okay, I do got my order here. Let me make sure I got the right tab open. Nope,
The
that's
kill
wrong.
order.
This is the future Amico No Access shirt that we are going to be offering at some point on the channel. As you can see, we already got one out in the wild. That is not the screen I was looking for.
I'll have to buy one when they're officially out there.
Oh, I need to get me one of those.
There is my confirmation for my order for the Amico. And that was in April, and I was order number 4487.
And that had to be 100. You got which one do you got coming, Tony?
The black one.
Okay, now is that supposed to be like the Tron one? Is that supposed to be the one everybody's calling the Tron system?
Yeah.
The black and the blue.
Yeah.
It's the African American console.
But here's the thing, though. It's only got that Tron look if it's lighting up blue, right? Did these things sit? I mean, nothing's really been discussed about the lights.
Yeah, I think
I mean, I don't think you get to pick the color the LEDs are lit up, but I think it just depends.
I mean, that would be a great little customization option, you know.
I think from listening to John Alvarado, I think he said that there is sort of customization. I guess there's packages already in there, you know, like you could pick, you know, how, PlayStation has themes already on the system that you can pick from. I think there's certain lighting settings that you can pick from. So that way when it sits there, it'll be lit a certain color. But I could be mistaken. And Amico Day says that's an interesting order number. Yeah. Like I said, I don't know if maybe the order numbers are tied to each color. Maybe the order numbers are different.
Yeah, it's a good. What was the order number?
4,400.
400. Okay.
4487.
I always put my money that they were at least going to sell around 5,000 units. I thought that was a pretty generous assumption. Thank you. Assumption that you know, given the amount of retro gamers and guys who were interested in that, I think that's a pretty good assessment. But I don't know. I don't know if they can clear 10,000. I'm super excited about the Playdate. I mean, that wowed me, and I haven't seen that from Amico yet. So,
well, see, Amico Day channel says his order number was 4733, and that was on June 1st. So they could very well be in order as to the amount of Amicos sold. So,
and you know, if I don't know, man, if they can't, they got to at least hit, what is it, 30,000 units? Is that like at least the bottom line is like 30,000 units?
I would think, like I said, from Tommy's original discussions, it was 180,000 that they had to make in order to break even.
Oh, wow.
Nick Richards says that number, like in our talk, obviously, you know, with all the cost increased and everything, that number's gone up. He didn't give a hard number as to how far it went up. But I would think at the very least, it probably went up to 250,000.
I just don't see them hitting 100,000, and that's an insane number. That's crazy.
Considering, I mean, we'll have to see.
And then, like
it's
we said, they only produced 50,000 boxes for their physical media, physical product. There was no breakdown as far as how the boxes were divided. If it was 50,000 per title or 50,000 total.
Okay. Yeah, because that would make a big difference. That's
and then on top of that, Tommy hasn't released any pre-orders. When he was talking on, I forget the name of the channel he was on, but he was talking about the pre-orders and the soft launch possibility. He started off with 30,000 pre-orders. Then he said somewhere like 20,000 to 30,000 pre-orders. So I don't think they have that many as far as maybe direct pre-orders. We don't know, what GameStop or the other websites might have, whether it's more or less. There was that issue with the UK Amazon site where all the pre-orders were canceled. We don't know if everyone re-upped their pre-order after they reopened it or what really went on with that, why they canceled the pre-orders. Tommy says that they were selling too many, that Amazon UK had oversold the stock, and that's why they started canceling pre-orders, but that made no sense considering that people who had pre-ordered day one from Amazon UK had their pre-order canceled.
And
I don't,
in a couple days, or well, not, I wouldn't say in a couple days, within the coming weeks, I mean, do you really see people, them getting more pre-orders than them losing pre-orders at this point?
Oh, no. At this point, if people haven't pre-ordered, I don't think they will.
Yeah, I think it's in the books.
I don't
at
see
this
that.
point.
Yeah,
It's,
with
if
all
people
the
had
negative press. Yeah, go ahead, Carl.
I was saying people had all the chance in the world to order, and they're not going to just suddenly decide to start pre-ordering. It's like,
and I
we've
think
had the chance.
They really have to hit off this mothers or the cell phone market or whatever, because if you're a gamer and it's either for you or it's not, and at this point, I mean, it's been long enough. We've been talking about it for quite a while now, so you either know or you don't.
If they really want to sell this to mommy bloggers, I'll tell you what they need to do. For every Amico you said that a mommy blogger, a mommy buys, she gets a free bottle of wine.
Oh, there you go.
That'll do it.
Yeah, I think that they had some momentum early on. They did get 10,000 pre-orders in a couple of days. But really, I think that was it. I mean, there was no advertising. There hasn't been much in the way of advertising between the original pre-orders opening and now. It's just been more of the same. Tommy showing up on places, some videos that are barely getting any views.
It's a disaster.
So can we? I got a few minutes left here. Can we jump into the cornhole now?
Sure, we can jump right into
it gets
the cornhole.
Worse.
Yeah, have you seen that, Carl? Have you seen?
No, I have not. I don't watch Amico videos that often.
Oh my goodness. So go ahead, Tony. Set it up for him.
All right. So the day after I interviewed Nick Richards, Nick had on this channel, he had discussed cornhole and the controls. I asked him about the motion controls.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
He said they weren't working up to snuff. He didn't really get really in deep with it, but he said
that stuff reworked. I'm aware of.
Right, they were being reworked and retooled, and everyone was happy with that. But the very next day, Tommy
I heard about the video too.
Yeah, and he showed off cornhole, but it wasn't really cornhole. It was more of a developer mode, developer asset thing. And basically the motion controls went from swinging your arm and pressing a button to lining up your shot, lining up your spot on the board, and then swinging your arm, pressing a button. And it didn't look like any kind of fun.
Oh, man.
And I'm trying to get the video up so we can have some context. Go ahead, Luke. Go ahead, Gary. Still with us?
I had it on mute. Sorry about that. And basically, what rubs me the wrong way is how he's talking about this and trying to like kind of walk it back and then convince you like they took Cornhole, which was complete, mind you. Remember, all these games are complete. They've only just been kind of making them, polishing them, since they had the time. What they took was they found that Cornhole was not fun to play. And these are Tommy's words. This wasn't fun to play. So they went back and redesigned the wheel, I guess. So, and they go and show what looks like beta footage. It looks bad. It looks really bad. It doesn't look anything like what we've been shown for 2 years. And my thing is, okay, well, when you're done with that, can we have a comparison to the old with the way that old Cornhole worked? Because I'm not buying it. You're either buying what he's selling or you're not. And at this point, we've been critical on this, and we were told that they're done, they're here, we're just polishing. But then we get steps back and like, hey, this is Cornhole, and this is a pack-in, right? This is the 5th pack-in.
Yeah.
This doesn't look good.
Yeah, there it is on the screen. The way that they talked about this, he was saying that this was not the game. This is just the motion control
Right.
scheme for the game. But yeah, it went from a simple press a button, swing your arm, let go of a button, to line up a shot, line up your arc, press the button, swing your arm, let go of the button. So it went from a 1-step process to a 3-step process.
Right, and there's actually a very good interview I've been meaning to look up after I've watched this video of Cornhole. He had a great interview with somebody and was talking about Cornhole and was talking about, hey, do you play? What about the winter time? And there was something that he contradicted himself in. I haven't found the interview that he had, because there's so many interviews to look through, and they're so long. But there was definitely something that he kind of backpedaled on.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He's backpedaled on so much.
Is this going to be what the game looks like?
No, he said this is just they're in like program like without all the fancy frills on it. But to me, it still doesn't add up. If you look at the original footage and you see they basically said they changed it because the way they were throwing the bag didn't feel right and it wasn't fun. So they went back and had to, like I said, reinvent what they had done before so that it felt more fun. But if this was something that didn't feel fun, wouldn't you have known that last year? I mean, that footage has been shown for how long now? I mean, how long did it take you to realize that this was it not fun? What I'm getting at, was it not fun, or was it just not finished?
To Gary's point, they've been showing off Cornhole for quite a while. They've been saying that the Cornhole works, the motion controls work. He's been pointing out the video saying, hey, look, we showed off the Cornhole motion controls, in the footage of Hans's children and their friends playing the game.
In fact, we were attacked during E3 that they did show footage, and now it's not that footage, so it's kind of ironic.
Right. So let's just suppose that the footage from E3 was real, right? That was actually Cornhole being played. Like Gary says, why did they show that footage if they were reworking the motion controls, if they were reworking everything? So apparently that footage was at least outdated even at E3. I mean,
the thing that bothers me the most is that they waited and waited and waited until last second before doing E3. And we've talked about this before.
Well, that's what they claim. We got to take them at their, we have to take them at their word, but I have a hard time doing that when it's just one thing after another thing after another thing. And then you got a CEO who's insulting people who don't agree with it. That's where the problem is.
What I mean to say is that most people, I would imagine most game developers already have their E3 presentations all set.
Yeah, I agree.
And they might even have backup of backups for their, in case maybe they do need an approval process. They have like 2 or 3 that they can show them.
Well, here's my issue with you had the footage that they showed. It's the footage they've been showing, and like Gary said, you would know right away whether or not this was a fun game to play or not. Tommy has been on Atari Age, other places, saying how great it is to play cornhole, how awesome it feels, and I can't wait till people see the motion controls, yada, yada, yada.
Yep.
So at what point did they decide, wait, this isn't fun to play, this is shit, we need to redesign it? Because obviously there was an issue, and like Gary said, if this thing released a year ago, would that mean we would have been playing cornhole with the shitty control scheme as opposed to the new, good, fun control scheme?
Right. And it's when he talks to, it's when I watch that, and it's like, it's certain moments that when you watch his body language, Tommy just has this way about him when he is trying to convince you of something or telling you something, and then he has this nervous tick where he scratches his face, and then he looks at John Alvarado a certain way, and then John Alvarado had to, like, he's got this death glare on him. It just rubs me the wrong way. Like I'm trying to be
force choke.
I'm being sold a story, and I just don't buy it.
Yeah, I think a lot of times either Tommy doesn't know what he's talking about, and he's adamant to talk anyway, or he's really trying to be very careful in his wording so he can later on say, well, I didn't lie because I didn't actually say X and Y. I said Z, or I implied it. So I think
but that's why you kind of keep quiet and you don't say nothing. This is why Tommy needs to be out of the spotlight. This is why you don't say nothing.
I know there's a certain president that Tony likes, and I like the guy too. But this sounds like, I swear, he reminds me of Mussolini Tallarico.
Well, see, the difference is I can call out the CEO of Intellivision with proof of what he said and other things, whereas a certain president or a certain anything, there's really not a paper trail. We're always looking for the smoking gun.
I like the guy too. I voted for him twice, so it's. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying the way they act is kind of the same. It's. They've had one has had a reputation of attacking journalists, accusing the news of being fake. Well, the other guy does it too. That's all I'm saying.
Some similarities between the two.
There's a few,
but we don't want to be political here. We
No. I'm just noting how similar they are. That's all.
Like I said, I think like Gary's saying, if Tommy doesn't know, he should just say, I don't know. I'll look into it. I'll have someone check on that and get back to you. He just can't do that. He has to have the answer. He has to be the one telling you.
And he does that thing like that video the day after you interviewed Nick, where he shoves that camera in everybody else's face.
Yeah.
If it were me, I would yank that camera out of his hand and say, "What the hell is wrong with you?"
And I know go ahead.
I was gonna say. We've all looked at the footage and we said, hey, this is, people look uncomfortable. They don't look like they want to be on camera. John Alvarado looked uncomfortable. He's then gone on to Atari Age and refuted that, saying that, no, everyone knew it was coming. It was decided at a meeting. I believe John Alvarado even said that they had a meeting beforehand, that they knew that he was going to go around filming them. And I mean, once again, it feels like damage control. Like he put the video out. People were commenting how uncomfortable everyone looked. So he had to come out and damage control. Say, no, guys, you are all wrong. These people love being on the camera. And even though I said people's names wrong and I didn't know what kind of questions to ask and everyone looked confused.
It just seems awkward, right?
What really happened was he was thinking, Ninja Kitty hasn't made a new video yet. By golly, I've got to help the man out.
Got to give him some content.
Yeah, like Ninja Kitty said on the John Alvarado interview on Amico After Dark, he actually called out Ninja Kitty because Ninja Kitty was the one, I believe, who made the video saying that John Alvarado looked uncomfortable. John said, no, he wasn't. He was completely fine.
To be fair, John kind of looks like that every time he shows up on camera. I mean, he did from the very first time that Tommy was like, "Hey, this is John Alvarado. This is our guy." He looked to be. He's not a. I don't think he's not a talker. He's a quiet guy. He's quiet and reserved. So it comes across that way.
Yeah, kind of like the guy who gets caught by the police for killing his mailman and eating him.
Oh God.
Oh, I love you, Carl. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Let's say that is John Alvarado. He's just that way. You know, he's not uncomfortable. It was fine. Everything was good, right? The insistence of them saying it is almost telling. It's like,
well, they do that on a lot of things too.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like the lady doth protest too much. It's like,
yep.
Ninja Kitty, no offense to him, I'm a small channel just like he is. It's like he's a nobody channel. No one's watching Ninja Kitty. He's not reaching this million subscribers that they have to.
Sorry,
say,
Ninja Kitty.
We have to refute what Ninja Kitty said because our reputation will be damaged. It's like, who cares if Ninja Kitty says John Alvarado looked uncomfortable? Why do you need to address it? The fact that you're addressing it almost makes it seem like he was correct. Like.
And it's the same way with the console. When it comes down to the console and anybody talking about it, he has to step in and say, no, look, you just don't understand. No, I understand. I've been playing games for 30 years. I get it. It's like you said, it could be not for me, and that's okay. But I get it. And I totally see what your message is. You can't change it once it's out there. And that's kind of what they want to do. They're like, we stumbled a couple of times, so let's kind of correct it. And it just keeps. You keep taking a step backwards. That's what, at least what it appears to me.
It's kind of like this. You don't understand. I'm telling you, the earth is flat. Flat, I tell you. That is the exact kind of stuff. Just it sounds like Tommy Tallarico is saying, and
well, it's all how it comes across, and I think that's been the biggest issue with a lot of people. Is just like, shut up. Show us your product. Let it speak for itself. That's all I want, And I feel like that's why I said that I'm so excited about the Playdate. I think they did that. I think they let it speak for itself. It's for you. It's not for you. Make up your mind. Where they even come out and say, hey, we got 24 games for you. Are you going to like them all? No, you're not going to like them all. And that's not because that they're bad games. And I think a lot of people had taken it like that. Like they said, they don't even believe in their own product. No, that's not what they were saying. What they were saying is, I'm not a puzzle guy. I don't like games like Tetris. I'll play them. They're not my go-to games. And there may be 5 games on there that are puzzle games. And that's what they're saying. Hey, you might not like every game that we're going to offer you, but you're going to have fun playing this. And we're sure you probably will find a few games that you're really gonna like. I don't think Amico has had, Intellivision has had that messaging at all. It's been, you're going to like this. And if you don't like this, then screw you. You're not our customer base. It's not, you know what I mean? It just comes off as, well, we don't want to sell to you. We don't want to sell you our product then. And don't you want to sell everybody your product? Don't you want this in the hands of everybody so that third-party developers jump on and there's more content for the system and this thing grows and lasts longer than 6 months, a year? I want this thing to last, 5 years. I want to make sure that if I'm putting $300 down, that I'm getting something for it. And at least with the Playdate, I put $200 down. I know I'm getting 24 games. I know it has an open SDK, and that at the end of the day, there is going to be a tight-knit homebrew community for this system, where I just don't see that with the Amico. All
right. So Samuda sent me a link, several links on Discord. We're not going to go through all of them, but I'm just going to briefly mention some of the things. Basically, Samuda is saying that he believes, or she, I don't know if it's a girl or a boy or an it, whatever. Samuda believes that they put out that dev resource video, or whatever you want to call it, that little cornhole demonstration that basically they were trying to mimic the environment that was already created in the game from Neobird. That Neobird, the German developers, they were given a grant for a bigger games to do other stuff, so they were unavailable to fix the cornhole game, and that's why Tommy and them are fixing it in house.
Oh, okay. But that's still, it's always, see, that's the problem though. Once you start down that road of, well, you always, that's the thing. You have an answer for everything, and there's always an excuse instead of the right answer. You know what I mean? And that could be fine. You're still in development. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just how Tommy, Intellivision, and the All Access and people who are very excited about it have been like, no, you're wrong. This is how it is. No criticism. And really that criticism didn't start until after E3. They really started taking it seriously. Like, look, there is some serious issues with what's going on here. The problem that they could never address them before and satisfy us, and then they pushed back, and now it comes out like, hey, look, it's not fun. This is, people are going to have a field day with it.
Yeah, and in that Nick interview, a lot of things that we had brought up, a lot of points and criticisms that we had brought up in the past, turned out that we were correct in almost everything that we said. Maybe we were off on the reasoning or the
maybe a little too harsh.
Yeah, maybe we were too harsh, or perhaps we got 90% of the way. We just didn't know the other 10% because that was behind the scenes stuff that there was no way we were going to know about it anyway. But a lot of the things that we said were correct. And instead of at the time Tommy saying, you know what, yeah, it is true. The game is not coming along. This is not happening. This is we did have to push this back. He was just, everything's roses. It's all great. You guys are idiots. You don't know what you're talking about. We're
Right.
gonna fucking sell out. And I think that's really hurt them a lot. It hurt their credibility. It's hurt their
definitely
momentum.
The feud with Pat and Ian has not been good. And it's like, I think now if you watch Pat, he has a good reason to kind of go after him now, where as before you can kind of tell that Ian doesn't really ever want to talk about it. He's just over it at this point. But Pat's just kind of, look, you want to play tough guy and act like I'm the asshole here, and now I'm going to drill it home that every time you mess up, I'm going to make sure we do a response to it. And it's like, if you wouldn't have made yourself seem like you guys were right and that everybody else is wrong, this stuff wouldn't be happening right now.
Yeah, Pat and Ian, again, a lot of the things they pointed out were just common sense things that you could just see. Anybody who didn't have blinders on could just see that there were problems, issues that if they would just had addressed at the time would have never been blown up into anything. No one would have dug deeper into these things. Let's take Evel Knievel, for example. When it was first noticed that it was a mobile port of a game, instead of Tommy saying, yes, this was a mobile port, we used the footage from the mobile trailer because we didn't have any new footage to use. We're going to develop it. We're going to put some new levels, do some whatever, reskin it, however you want to put it. That's what we're doing going forward. No one would have had a problem with it, I don't think. I think most people would have said, okay, you explained what's going on. But instead he was like, no, there's no mobile games. You're wrong. This is not a mobile port. And then we were like, dude, here's the fucking mobile game. Look. Well, it's different. It's like, well, here's the exact trailer that you used from your video. Well, you don't understand. And then he made this big story about, he basically said that the developers of the Evel Knievel mobile game really believed in it. They really liked it, but it got buried in the mobile store, and they never got to finish the game and make the game that they really wanted to make, and that they had reached out to Tommy because they're good friends. The developers and Tommy were good friends behind the scenes, and that they had reached out and to develop the game for the Amico, and that they had brought it over, and that was the only mobile game that they were, doing because it was Evel Knievel is something he likes, and like I said, he was friends with the developers and yada yada yada. That's the story they told Atari Creep, and that's the story that he came out and made a video and told everybody, and that was the gospel. And turns out, that's not really what happened, because it was an old mobile game that obviously Tommy likes. Evel Knievel, he picked up the Barnstorm Games. as far as I can tell, they never mentioned anything about being old friends with Tommy when I talked to them, because I did talk to the head developer on Twitter DMs. He didn't make any mentions of, being friends with Tommy or having connections, or that they were adding anything different as far as versions of the game. Just the only thing he mentioned was that there was going to be a multiplayer mode, but he wouldn't go into details on it.
Right, and we know how loosely they throw around the word friend. So I mean,
yeah,
it
Nick
seems to be a
Richards
common.
Yeah, even Nick Richard had mentioned that Tommy calls everyone his good friend.
So I mean, there you go, and that's basically cornhole in a nutshell. I think it's just more of the same that we've been used to over the last.
It's time for me to eat, so I'll talk to y'all later.
Right,
have a nice night, y'all.
I think we're gonna have to wrap it up. See you later, Carl, because I got a few minutes left too. So,
all right, so I guess we'll wrap it up. This has been going pretty long. There will be, I guess, a very short. Let me see if I can get the banner off. We'll do a very short Q&A with the chat, because we always got to have chat Q&A. Any questions, anything you want to talk about real quick, we'll give you 5 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes. 56K warning says Amico gave Pat the best content he could have with Fake Tommy. Yeah, Fake Tommy is pretty good. I would love to have him. If Fake Tommy is listening to this, I would love to have you on. Maybe do an interview with you in character, obviously.
That is a good bit.
Let's see, the developers with the Xbox controller, I think it was Couch in the Woods. I haven't heard anything from them in a while.
What's that with the Xbox controllers?
Yeah, the ones that did the what the hell is it called? Something Striker, Neon Striker.
Oh, okay. The
Remember they did a video showing off the game, and they said they didn't have Amigo controllers, that they were using the Xbox controllers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're the one where you're scoring goals and it plays kind of like a Rocket League type.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember that became its own thing too, because Pat and Ian, of course, made a video on it. They were saying, hey, these guys don't even have controllers.
Right.
What the hell's going on? How could you not have controllers for your devs?
Well, it just seems to be a common trend here.
Yeah, Neon Strikers was in a few videos. I know there's a TikTok. If you are on TikTok, there's a Intellivision tour, like what it's like to work at a game studio or some weird wording that they go around. One of the programmers, she goes around, talks to people, shows some footage of them playing Neon Strikers and stuff.
Now, to their credit, I mean, that game does look fun. It looks fun, but as you guys, you're raising the question, where are the Amico controllers being played with it? I mean, isn't that, if I'm going to see the game run, obviously I know most games are created, on a computer, but and they obviously that's an easy way to hook up, a Microsoft controller to your computer, but still, you're showing it off. I think you should show the Amico controllers in action, but it really is vindication for this whole time of saying, hey, look, these controllers, there's something up with these controllers. We don't personally know what it is, but just something doesn't smell right.
Yeah, we know that Nick Richards said there were some bugs in the programming at one point. That's why the gyroscope wasn't responding correctly. So we did confirm that. Obviously, if the Neon Striker devs were using Xbox controllers, then it's got to beg the question, how much are the actual Amico controllers going to add to the gameplay?
Right, and what unique feature does the touchscreen bring to the table? Yeah, it's a good question.
And how much fine tuning and optimization can you do without the Amico controllers? I mean,
right.
Obviously, you could only go so far with the Xbox controllers. Then they basically had to stop development and say, well, we've done everything we can. Now we need the actual Amico controller, guys, and it's going to be a weird thing. You know, it's the same thing with the 3 demo units that they keep showing off. I forgot to ask Nick Richards, but I did mention on Reddit that I forgot to ask him. I was going to ask what was inside the demo units because, you know, I wouldn't put it past them to have better components inside the demo units to make a better experience versus what's going to be in the retail version. Samuda says, for the longest time, the delay issues all seemed like they had no idea what interrupts are when developing hardware. Yeah, I don't quite understand that comment. Maybe rewrite it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's talking about.
There are, Amico Day Channel says there are about 200 Amico pre-production units now. I don't know where he's getting this number from. I know he's insistent that this whole thing is a big psyops and that they're going to have a full launch and we're all going to look like idiots.
I don't see that. I mean, if they did, why aren't people saying, hey, look, I mean, you don't see anything. And granted, they could be signing NDAs and whatnot, but I would think at this point, like the Playdate, you have guys, like if you go look up Playdate, they already got guys running Doom on Playdate. You pull out the minigun, use the crank, boom. That's cool. So I would expect if some of these guys got this into their hand that they would be able to, you know, work on their games, but also kind of tinker with, you know, and see what the hardware's about. And we just don't see that going on right now.
Yeah, so Amico Day says a batch of 80, a batch of nearly 100, and then the other pre-production units, so 200 is just about accurate, except from between the time that we had the Texas event and the time that we had the Pennsylvania event, we still only had 3 demo units. You would think that if they had handmade nearly 200 units, they would at least kept a couple more for demo purposes.
And
I don't think they have 200 developers.
Right, and we see these in every video, right? The Ferrari red is the one that's always in the playroom at the headquarters, isn't it?
Yeah, and that also begs the question: Are those? Because I know in the video, the TikTok video, they show at least 3 different Amicos throughout the building. My question is: are those actually the demo units? Is he packing those up and taking them to demo? Do they actually have more units that they just don't bring around?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, and I know this is kind of like off, and I don't know if you guys talked about this a couple weeks ago, but after watching last time I was on, I didn't watch the Crayola event. Is it just me, or did anybody else feel like the All Access crew was kind of helping at the Crayola event? Is that just me?
No,
like
they were helping. They
were
100%.
like, yeah.
They admitted that they were helping. They were passing out flyers to get people to come to the Crayola event. They were helping move tables, set things up.
I mean, that goes a little bit past of being, you know, a fan and being kind of. I know I don't think they've ever claimed that they've not been, you know, unbiased about it, but it definitely seems like they've gone the extra mile to make this successful, just for a few guys that are some very small YouTubers.
Well, I'll tell you this, Gary. It was so bad that one of the individuals said that he was approached in the bathroom by someone that was there, and they were asking him questions about, you know, well, how long have you guys been developing the Amico and blah, blah, blah. Because someone at the Crayola event that had no idea who any of these people were under the impression that this individual was working for Intellivision.
Oh, wow.
So obviously they were, you know, very hands-on, helping, you know, setting things up, helping people with the games and the controller and stuff like that.
I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't have a problem with that. It's just, it goes against, you know, what you guys have been, what they've been, you know, they don't want to be called chills. They don't want to be called cultists, which is fine. And, you know, I don't like to use those terms, but when you're in Texas, I mean, you know, Cyrus is in Texas, right? I mean, when you go from Texas to Pennsylvania, yeah, that's a hike. And it begs the question, like, did Tommy pay for that trip? You know, I don't want to call anybody shills, but that's like I said, that was a 4-6 hour event. That's a lot of time to take out of your schedule. Even, you know, even if you're not working, I'm sure you have other responsibilities to just kind of cut like that. And I know DJC is actually down the street from me. I know he lives in like he's in like Detroit, I think. So he's like literally 5 minutes away from me. And that's a far drive. I mean, if I could have taken that drive and gone just to go play the system, I mean, at that point, I thought these guys were kind of cut dry down the middle. Like, hey, we're looking at this thing and we like it, but we also criticize it. But then you're helping Tommy. Like, it just, that's another thing that just rubs me the wrong way. That you guys are helping with this event when it's like, hey, look, they got the money. How much money did they raise? They raised an incredible amount of money. And it just seems weird to have a group of small YouTubers helping you with the event. It's just weird to me.
Well, that whole event, there's been so much, I don't want to say controversy, but there's been various stories about what exactly the event was. Some people have said that, as Ninja Kitties is asking, one of the individuals that went with DJC, I guess one of his friends or a friend on YouTube or something, he was like, we got to thank Retro Bro. He set it up. He paid for the meal. He paid for this and that and the other thing. And then Retro Bro, we had mentioned that on Discord. He came into the Discord and said, no, he didn't pay for any of that. What do you guys? You don't know nothing. Tommy paid me. And he was all upset that we implied that he paid for this event or for anything. There was another video from, was it the original Next Level Gamers? Where this was prior to the Crayola event, where they were like, you know, we got to give it up to Retro Bro. He set everything up. He was acting as a liaison between.
That's Mike Mullis, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mullis was saying that, you know, Retro Bro was basically, because he's from Pennsylvania, he was talking to the Crayola people on behalf of Intellivision and I guess, you know, acting as a messenger between the two to set everything up. So, I mean, you know, it's basically their own words. And then when you say, hey, well, this guy who was there said X, and then they get mad. No, that's not true. Well, don't tell me. I wasn't there. You know, he's saying X. This guy's saying Y. You know, maybe you guys should all get your story together. You know, get together, get your story straight, and then go on.
I mean, even if but even if you had the story straight, it still rubs a lot of people. It rubs me the wrong way, and I think it rubs a lot of people the wrong way. They see guys that have been saying, "Hey, look, this thing's going to be awesome. There's nothing wrong with it. There's no lag. There's this, that. You know, Tommy's a great guy. He's my friend." And then you're helping them run an event, that they have enough money to do themselves. It's just weird, at least to me.
And here's further. I wanted to mention this during the cornhole talk, but I forgot. So they had asked, you know, they did the Crayola event, and people were asking if they played cornhole. These people, these individuals who were at the Crayola event, make YouTube videos. They came out and said that cornhole was not at the events because they did not fit in with the focus of the event for families and young kids. But that the cornhole did work. And then we know, like 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, whatever it is, you know, we find out that cornhole was in fact not working. So I think their credibility at this point is
working, but not fun. Okay.
No, because they reworked the cornhole, so that's why it wasn't at the event, not because.
Okay, I got what you're saying.
Right. So I mean, if you're basically telling me, hey, the reason that cornhole wasn't at the Crayola event was because
it just
didn't fit in, or they didn't bring it because they wanted more younger focused games. When the truth is, they didn't bring it because they were reworking the motion controls. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So basically, you are now spreading misinformation. You're spreading the propaganda of Intellivision, whether knowingly or unknowingly. And I think at this point, your credibility is completely shot. You are not unbiased. Yeah. You're super biased. You will just regurgitate whatever Tommy tells you.
And I mean, there's nothing wrong with being super biased. I mean, when I go and review the Playdate, I'm gonna make it known that, hey, look, this thing is right up my alley. But, and I think there's a good conversation to have with somebody who is biased, right? I mean, they do give a good perspective, but also as long as you know, like, hey, look, this thing, no matter what they do, is for me. The Amico, I'll buy it regardless. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But when when you were being criticized and when the criticism was at the time when you should have handled it, you didn't, and you had pushback, you pushed back on that, on that theory. And then later it comes out. It's just, it's always a bad look. And I think that's the biggest problem. And like we said before, I don't think they'd be having this kind of backlash if they just were like, you guys are right. We're going a little too strong on this. We are biased towards this. Because you look at these guys' collections and they probably are close to completing Intellivision. Granted, Intellivision has a small library. These guys have massive Intellivision, Commodore, Atari, their collections. This is their era of gaming that they absolutely love. And I obviously understand that you're going to be biased. That's what you remember as a kid and what you grew up on. But there is a time to understand that I am biased and maybe I should be listening, at least in the early, about a year and a half ago, that's when the criticism should have been taken seriously and not after E3 tanked.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I think it goes beyond bias or unbiased. I think, obviously, if you're into video games, you're biased towards the video game. If you're into
Correct.
a certain genre or a certain era of video games, you will be biased towards that. That's expected. They're older gentlemen. I expect them to be biased towards older games, retro games. The issue is they have entanglements with the company now. They have, they're appeared in official videos for the company. They've appeared at events for the company helping out. They are self-proclaimed friends of the CEO. I mean, at this point, there's no way anybody could look at their video and say they're being in any way, shape, or form objective.
Genuine, right?
The product. And I think another problem is someone like me who will come out and say, hey, Sony sent me this game free. Microsoft sent me X, Y, and Z, and this is why I'm playing it and reviewing it and blah, blah, blah. They won't even go out as far as saying, hey, I'm talking about this product, but I'm friends with Tommy, or they sent me, this behind the scenes stuff. I got information because I'm friends with him. I'm playing ball. They basically try to pretend, downplay that stuff, pretend that it's not having any effect, and then they get upset when they get called on it.
Right.
I think that's one of the big issues. And I brought it up to Nick Richards, and he said that he understood, but that I was being a little nitpicky. And I guess, I can be nitpicky, but like I said, if I'm just somebody who has no idea who Cyrus Martin is, for example, right? And I watch that reaction video to the Texas event, and his brain is turned to Swiss cheese, and he's saying all these good things. I'm thinking he's just some guy that showed up to the event. He's not a paid actor because there's no paid actor thing on the screen.
No disclaimer, right?
No disclaimer. Right. I don't think he's a friend of the CEO because there's no disclaimer for that. I don't know he has a YouTube channel because there's no disclaimer for that. I don't know that he was invited to the event. As far as I'm aware, this is a public event, open to the public, and he is someone from the public that signed a agreement to be filmed and be put on camera. That's it. That's as far as I'm assuming.
Right, and this is go ahead. Oh, I was gonna say this is why DJC got so much flack from a lot of people, and Rich, right? That's why the whole jaw dropping was like, well, wait a minute, nothing here that's like revolutionary, but you're also entangled with Tommy and Intellivision, and that's why you got flack from a lot of guys. So
yeah, and I think part of it is like I had brought up in a previous video, they had a reaction to playing the Amico. At the time, Saggy Melons had not played the Amico, but they used 2 clips of her voice and 2 clips of her talking about the Amico and how good it was for families and stuff. And everyone else in the video had played the Amico. So one would just assume, watching the video, that everybody talking had played the Amico, and this is their reaction to playing the Amico. Whereas this particular individual at that point in time had not played the Amico, yet they were showing clips of her as if she did. There was no disclaimer. It wasn't just her setting up a question or asking a question to somebody for them to answer. It was actually her making statements about the console. And I think that's very misleading and very, it shows how they're willing to take any shortcut, any angle in order to push the system.
Yep. I agree. And even with the testimonials, there were a few fresh faces that we haven't seen, but from the picture, I don't know if it was Ninja Kitty who posted the video with the picture of all of them at the end. And some of those people were in the testimonials. Now, even fooled me because I thought, hey, look, there's a few people that we haven't seen, and these are people that might have went into the Crayola event not knowing what's going on. But at the end of the day, oh, no, wait, that was part of someone's family, or this was another part of the family. So it just, it raises more questions than it answers with it being genuine. Just being genuine is whether or not these people are really into it, or are they part of a group of people that Nick might be a friend and we came down here with him and we're supporting this, and I just don't know. And it's not like products haven't done this, companies haven't done this with products for years, but it's just the way that specifically Intellivision's coming across to people. And I think that's the biggest why they're getting so much hate and pushback towards the gaming community.
Well, I'll tell you what, the reason that they get so much flack from me on this particular issue is because Tommy's very insistent that he's the most transparent and open CEO, that they're not like other companies. They're not like other companies. They're doing things better. They're grassroots. And then you point out, like, wait a minute, this particular individual that you're showing in your video, he's made 71 Amico videos. He's interviewed you twice. His kids are excited to see you when they shows you them on video. It's not exactly the general public that you have in this official Amico video. When I called him out about curating his comment section, I was told that I was being an idiot. I was nitpicking, and of course everybody does it. But I said in my original article, I said it was my belief that he was going to use this as an AstroTurf to try to make it seem like it had more excitement and more hype than it did. And sure enough, in just about every investor pitch that he's done, he's mentioned the comment section on his YouTube videos and how great they are. So it just shows you that,
the games are not the only thing being highly, what was the word?
Well, everything's being controlled to present a picture of the company and a picture of the reaction to the company in a very highly positive light.
Of course. I mean, no company's going to put out, this thing, and a testimonial is going to come out and they're not going to be like, nah, it was cool. And that's the thing. If they could have had somebody that said, hey, this is very awesome, this is cool, but this is probably not going to be for me at the end of the day, you might want to check it out to make your own decision. I think what we get is, no, this thing's awesome. It's going to redefine things. There's nothing like it on the market. And we all know as a group of gamers, that's not true. There's other, you might like it. There's nothing wrong with liking it. And there might be a few unique things about the Amico, but experience wise, if you want to play with your family, there are other options.
Yeah. And, I'm not expecting them to have someone come out on an official video and say that the console's shit.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, like, even in the comment section, people can't criticize. They get shadow banned or their comments deleted.
Right.
And so, but that's not a big deal. So you say, okay, well, that's no big deal, right? On itself, it's not a big deal. But then when you go to investors and say, hey, look at our YouTube comments, they're so great, everybody loves it.
Right.
Well, you're not telling the investors that you specifically have deleted all the negative comments. You're telling them that people are only leaving good comments. You're misleading the investors to think that there's a bigger hype around the system than there is. And I think that's
right. It's more positive. Right. Right.
And the same thing with the videos when he's like, hey, go check out this Best Buy Canada blog. I'm not going to tell you that the guy who runs it, I've interviewed him and I call him a good friend and we talk on Twitter and he's on a podcast every once in a while that I'm on. I'm not going to tell you that part, but I'm going to pretend like this is an unbiased source. Or this other website that's run by Jay Prime, who's generational gamer on YouTube and does positive Amico videos. And I've given him interviews. I'm not going to tell you that part of it. I'm just going to direct you to his positive coverage and then act like all the negative coverage doesn't exist.
Yep, I agree. And that's been why they've gotten a lot of flack. You're right.
So I mean, and there are several people that are within the Amico fandom that are claiming to be journalists or ex-journalists, or they want to try to be journalists, and to see them say these things and not see the ethical and journalistic issues with their coverage is very disheartening, and kind of, it hits me on a personal level, being a journalist myself.
Yeah, and I didn't agree with what Mike said, because that's what sticks out when you say when you talk about that. It sticks out that when Mike pointed out, like, hey, look, when he did the when he was at E3 and he was talking about the what the Phantom, and he's like, hey, look, I checked it out, I put what I thought about it, and that was it. But I think it's not that simplistic. I think, like you said, everybody, like the average consumer, is not going to know that Cyrus, as you know, is a small YouTube channel, and that he's, like you said, made a lot of videos about this, and then he's featured in a lot of the stuff. And the average investor is not going to know this stuff, because they're, they got their investment, but they got other things going on, and they're most likely probably not gamers. They're investors. They're looking for opportunities to make money. And like you said, it's being disingenuous, and it's not right at the end of the day. And that's why a lot of us are going around kind of preaching the gospel here, that, hey, look, all we're saying is this thing, something don't smell right. Take that with a grain of salt. If this thing's for you, that's great, but just be aware that it might not be what it's being presented as today. So when you get it, in October, or if it comes out next year, that it's the roses they don't smell too great.
Yeah, and to go back to what you said about Mullis saying that he was at E3 and he checked out the Phantom Console. Well, he actually really exposed himself, in my opinion, when he was talking about that. Because if you know anything about the Phantom Console, it was another like Coleco Chameleon situation, where it was basically not a real thing. It never came out. There's a lawsuit, I believe it's still ongoing, possibly. But they got sued for the claims they were making and all kind of stuff. He basically said that he went out, he checked out the console, which we know wasn't real, and then he went back and regurgitated the press release from the company. He didn't question anything. He didn't say, hey, I checked it out and it doesn't look real, or the claims they're making don't seem possible, or he didn't give any sort of opinion on it. He just regurgitated what he was told, and he thinks that was good enough. And if someone invested in the company, or someone made a pre-order for the console, well, it's not on him. It's, he just said what the company told him.
Right.
And I think that's complete horseshit. If you look at something, whether it's the Atari VCS, the Coleco Chameleon, the Amico, the PS5, the fucking, the Nintendo OLED Switch, if you look at it and hey, this claim they're making doesn't seem possible, or this doesn't smell right, or I don't think that they're going to be able to make the amount that they're claiming, and you don't say something as a journalist, you're fucking useless. Okay, that's your job. Your job is to inform the public and have the consumer and the public's best interest in your mind. Okay, you're not here to be a mouthpiece for the company. You're not here to be a marketing arm of a studio. You're here to inform the public about a product and what your opinion on the product is, so they can make an informed decision as to whether or not to put money into said product.
Right. And I think, and that's the biggest point, and that's why a lot of people complain about the price point. I think if it were $100, people would be willing to throw that $100 away, and they wouldn't think twice about a review, a preview, any of this content that's coming out about it. I think, $100 is disposable. You can make that decision very easy. You're either happy or you're not with the product. But at the end of the day, it's, it's not $250. It's not $300 for the wood grain. It's a lot easier to swallow. And you're right, Mullis has a duty as a journalist to come out and be honest about these things, and it all boils down to integrity.
Yeah, and I don't try to aim any of my comments at any individuals. I try to keep it on the console, but when you come out and you say you're a former journalist, or you are a journalist, or you're looking to be one, and you are acting in such a manner that it's making the whole games journalist industry look bad, that affects me. That reflects bad on myself, because you're only as good as the worst person in your field. I did a whole article on this. When someone like Dean Takahashi plays Cuphead and he can't get past the tutorial, that doesn't just reflect bad on Dean. That reflects bad on all games journalists. We all look like idiots.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like I said, I do take it sort of personal, and I'm not trying to attack anyone on an individual level.
Well, it's a reason why, a lot of people, and I think people have given IGN a little bit more credit recently, but there for a while it was, IGN was just criticized up and down for the way they were reviewing products and handling things. And it's to the point where people know now. And then that's why these channels exist. This is why someone like, Darius exists. It's because of, not just because of e-beggars and all that stuff, but it's the integrity's not there, being dishonest and having someone call you out on it. And if you can't give an honest opinion, then maybe you should find another, even if doing this little bit of journalism is just in your spare time, maybe it's time to find something else, because like you said, it doesn't affect you. It might not affect the company. It might, but the most important thing is it's affecting the consumer. And when the consumer has, choices like Amico, the Steam Deck, Playdate, all these things at their fingertips, especially with the thousands of games that come out on Steam and Xbox Live, the PlayStation Store, all these places, it's now more important than ever, I think, for people to know what they're getting. Because hey, look, you could spend $250 here, but hey, you got a Switch, you could buy this much content, you could buy a Switch Lite and maybe a couple Mario Karts. There's so many different things you can do at this day and age. And I think it's the market is really tight, that if you're not, like, I still respect journalists, and I don't base my buys off I like to get at least a couple different sides of it, and maybe they have some information that I don't know about, but I want the information to be honest, truthful, steer me in the right direction. Don't mislead me. And then I end up with a product, and then whose fault is it? It's not Mike Mullis's fault that I bought an Amico and it just plays like shit. It's, whose fault is it? And then really, I got to put it, there's certain people who look at that and take it as gospel. I don't. And there's, I've been around long enough to know, like, hey, look, this is just to see some gameplay, to see maybe another side of it that I might not have looked at it through the same lenses. But, at the end of the day, do your research and make sure you know what you're buying. Because in this, like I said, in this market now, there's just so many options.
Yeah, Ninja Kitty brings up a good point. The fact is that it's 2 months from release, and we have no idea about games, what they look like, how things will work. That is bigger than the expensive price point. Yeah, and even in the interview I did with Nick basically said that there's not any finished games. They're close to being finished. They're almost there, but they're not quite. And I think that's really telling. Once again, we were told they were ready to go last year. Last October, They could have launched if they had the parts, if there was no COVID.
And at this point, they're just polishing games because they have the extra time.
Yeah, and then come to find out that was all a bunch of horseshit, basically. We don't want to turn this into a second Amico segment. So if you guys got any other questions, any suggestions for songs, I will say that I want to have a sort of scripted section on these live streams, something like a 5 to 10 minute scripted thing that we could play. And I'm going to open it up to the fans if they want to send like a little mini video or something we could play on the live stream and we talk about. Just hit me up at TonyTGD@thegeekgetaway.com. You can send me a 5-10 minute video. Keep it clean. If you want to do a rant, or if you want to do some kind of raving about some new game or maybe a mini review or something, and we'll put it on the stream, and I'll definitely link to your YouTube channel or whatever. So I want to open it up. Let the audience create some content for me because I'm lazy like that, and I'd love to fill 10 minutes with someone else's stuff. Since Gary fully knows everything what he will get with the Playdate, he has no idea what he's getting with the Amico, which is launching earlier.
Nope. And that's why I don't have a deposit down on an Amico. I like, and I've said it before, I like Astro Smash, doesn't bother me. I think Astro Smash looks pretty fun. I could have fun with that. The art doesn't bother me too much. But it really boils down to, I thought Cornhole was going to be one of those games I would be like, yeah, this is going to be fun and everybody will like the play. It's like Wii Bowling, you know? And when I see that video and it's just, oh my God, it's like worse than what we thought. You're showing us, well, this doesn't have the art on it. It doesn't, yeah, but I've heard this stuff before and that doesn't bother me. But what bothers me is that, hey, look, E3 came out. We're like, oh, look, they're playing, they're showing, you got guys back and you saying, hey, look, they're showing Cornhole right here, this family. And granted, are they, do you realize this was footage, just different angles of footage we've seen before? And now it comes out that, hey, Cornhole's not as good as it was looking. It's just like more vindication, more I'm right. And I don't want to be right. I want to be wrong so badly on this because I love original Intellivision. I have tons of games for it, man. I just want to see all the retro stuff made. That's me personally. But yeah, I know what I'm getting with the Playdate. I don't know what I'm getting with the Amico. And at that price point, I saved what, $50 in tax or whatever, and I got myself a Playdate, and I'm excited. And Open SDK, homebrew. I just have a feeling it's going to be good. It's going to be big.
So what I'm hearing is that we're going to get a review of the Playdate from Obsessive Compulsive Gamer soon.
Oh, yes, definitely. I will definitely let everybody know as soon as I get that thing. I will probably go in maybe for the first time, actually, because I've always done like skipped around, just playing some Pokemon or doing some what I got in my collection, because I always like to watch collection videos. I think guys are like, yeah, that's cool, and you can give a little, a brief little minute of how the game plays, what I think about it, and if people have the same taste in gaming as I do, that they might enjoy those things. So what I think I'm going to do is I'll probably review it, and then every week a game, those 2 games come out, I'll sit down for maybe an hour, play, give my thought on it. But I'm really excited. I definitely can't be in the middle on this. I'm definitely biased. I definitely have high hopes for this system. I think they're going to do great. I think they're going to knock it out of the park with this community. And as far as I can see, man, an open SDK is where it's at. People are going to be loading this thing. Now, granted, that's the biggest issue, is that I guess that this only has 4 gigs of internal storage, and we don't know how much of that's going to be eaten up by the operating system, all that stuff. But games are going to be small. It's, we don't know exactly. I think the file size was like 30 megabytes or something like that. They're really small. But we don't know what kind of, like, how much storage we'll have for stuff like, side loading and whatnot. It'll probably fill up fast, but I'm definitely excited. I see more of the Playdate lasting a couple years than I do the Amico. And that's the biggest thing with the Amico, is I don't see it lasting more than a year. I think they will support it for about up to there. And then I really don't think Earthworm Jim 4 is going to come out. I really don't. I don't see it. So, and that's sad. Not that Earthworm Jim's a big game to me, but that really could be something to push the Amico. And, haven't seen anything but the concept trailer. So,
yeah. And speaking of Earthworm Jim, I thought it was very telling that Interplay Games has a Twitter account. And then last week, I don't know if you've seen, something called Interplay Entertainment showed up on Twitter. They were teasing an announcement that was supposed to happen, I believe, on Wednesday of this week. And Tommy Tallarico, CEO of Intellivision, who's working closely with members of the Earthworm Jim team, Interplay, who's friends with them, who knows them on a personal level, he retweeted this Interplay Entertainment teasing this announcement. Come to find out that Interplay Entertainment was actually a hoax, a fake created Twitter account that had no
Account? Oh,
connection
wow.
to Interplay. and so it just strikes me as odd that he would not have realized this. You know, could you?
That
It'd be
is
like
very odd.
if some account came out, right, and was like it said it was Carl. You know, this is Carl's new account, and said, "Hey, I got a big announcement for Thursday, right?" The first thing I would do is I'd be like, "Hey, Carl, why didn't you tell me you had an announcement coming?" I'd hit him up,
Right.
and then he would be like, "No, that's not my account. That's someone's pretending to be me or whatever, right?" So you would think
Right.
in this same situation that if Tommy saw this, hey, Interplay, let me call them guys up. They didn't, how do I not
They
know
didn't
about
tell.
this?
Right. They didn't tell me anything about it.
And even just to be like, hey guys, congratulations, or I can't wait to see what you guys have. But no, he just tweets it out, and he has to find out like everyone else that it was a phony account. And speaking of Twitter, Tommy also retweeted a hoax account from a gentleman that was pretending to be a convicted child molester.
Oh, okay. So they were playing in on the that whole bit.
Yeah, so apparently this individual had been arrested for keeping his daughter in the basement,
Oh
locked
God.
up, and doing horrible things. So I guess someone took the guy's picture, created a fake account, and was tweeting stuff out. And somehow he stumbled upon the Amico, and he tweeted out, "Can't wait to get the family back together so I can play Amico with the grandkids." And of course, Tommy, being so enthusiastic about retweeting people that are positive about the system, retweeted this guy's account out.
Wow.
So I thought that was pretty funny. I thought it was pretty telling that, just the level of desperation for validation that the company has, that they're just retweeting out anybody without looking into who might be behind the account, not recognizing this person that was on the news. His face was all over the news.
I mean, could you imagine this stuff happening with Nintendo of America?
No.
Xbox, like not at all, not at all. And I understand you're a small company. I get it. I really do. I get it. But I mean, it's just, we're getting down to like common sense things and things you should know better at this point. And like you said, it's validation. To me, it's always seemed like that from the very get-go. When I started seeing Tommy, like from 2 years, I can't even remember how long ago, 3 years, 2 years, whatever. But the first time I seen Tommy, it was popped up on Pat and Ian's video, and it struck me as weird. Never in my life have I seen a CEO of a company personally hitting small YouTube channels. And granted, they're not huge. They are a small channel, but they're a great channel. And it seemed like, wait, you're trying to go after a retro crowd, but then the retro crowd's not who you're going after. So I don't get it. I mean, and then you're telling people, hey, look, you don't need to buy our system. It's just weird. And though they can say they haven't started marketing, but that's, to me, is your marketing. I mean, you're out there as a company saying, hey, we either want you, we don't want you. You're putting out videos of your product. That's marketing to me. I don't care if you spent a cent. It was free. Whoever did it, the intern at the office did it. You're putting information out there, and you got to have that tough hide, because people are cannibals out here, man. They'll rip you apart. So you put your best foot forward and let your product speak for yourself. I've said that since day one, and I just haven't seen it from the Amico. And I really wish that Tommy and Pat, and they could squash this whole thing. I really wish Tommy could say, you know what, up until this point, I've kind of put my foot in my mouth, and I'm sorry to all of those, and anybody I might have disappointed who has had money invested into this. It hasn't been a good look. Maybe I can do better, and nobody's perfect. Pat and Ian aren't perfect, but they have been right. I think they were fair at the beginning. Now I do think Pat's getting on it's a personal level. It's like, yeah, you're going to shit the bed, and I'm going to show everybody now because you turned it into a pissing match. So at that point, I don't feel bad for Tommy, but this definitely could have all been avoided had the message been right from day one, and I don't think it's been right from day one.
Yeah, I don't think that Tommy and Pat are ever gonna be friendly. And I'll tell you what, I will give Pat credit for not cutting Tommy out of the video game years. He could have easily edited him out of the re-uploads, but he left them in there. So at least good on you for doing that, Pat. But Tommy did go personal. He did say a lot of things about Ian's medical condition and other things like that.
Well, even when he talked to you, I thought it was just highly just off to be like, "Hey, look, we can talk about things, but I'll never be your friend." Like that was like unnecessary. It's kind of unnecessary stuff. That's just like we know that we butt heads. Okay, I know I'll probably never be Tommy Tallarico's friend, but at the same time, does it need to be said? Like, does Tommy need the certain things that he should step back and think about and say, "Hey, should I say this?" It just gives a bad image. Like, all these other people are your friends, and if they're kissing your ass, they're great. But if you got some pushback, I'm not going to be friends with you because we're not looking for a way to destroy you. I mean, if you stay on camera long enough, you're going to do that to yourself. But we want to be informative. That's all I've ever did. That's the only reason why I put that video out. I felt personally attacked for having an opinion and trying to clarify, hey, look, you need to focus on these things. At least if you're on the, in the retro gaming community and you're looking in the Amico and wanting to spend $250, I'm not going to reach these mommy bloggers and the casuals the hyper casuals on their phones. I'm not going to reach these people, but I can reach people who do really care about gaming, the community that keeps gaming and probably has kept gaming alive. I'm 30 years in and I've been buying games like I can't even play as many as I buy, within a week. But I think it's that our crowd that has kept things like the Amico possible, the Coleco Chameleon was possible because there was a crowd there for it. The Atari VCS, even though those are not my cup of tea, I think because that crowd existed and we're so passionate about it, that's why you've had the chance to make the Amico a possibility. So,
all right. So just to flash back a little, so you can see on the screen, I did go to AmicoGames.com. They basically document everything. They're really good for that. And as you can see, this is the tweet from Tommy Tallarico. It says, "Thank you. Looking forward to showing folks what we've been working so hard on for so long. So many talented and passionate people on the Intellivision team pouring everything they have into something we all love and cherish. We can't wait to share it with the world. Heart." He was quote tweeting this comment from Joe at SellerBeast35. "I can't wait to get the Intellivision Amico and play with my children and grandchildren when we are reunited. Let's relive the good old days. Can't wait to see what else Tommy Tallarico has up his sleeve." And that is the individual there using the picture, Joe at SellerBeast. And this was a picture of Joseph Fritzl, who locked up his daughter for 24 years and did very, very horrible things to her.
oh my God.
And
Yeah,
like
that's not a good look, is it?
No, it's
especially when you came out Nintendo and claimed all that other stuff. It's so really ironic.
Like, you should stop. You should learn by now. You don't just retweet anybody. It goes to show again how a lot of the people are out of touch with the current internet environment. That he just retweeted someone without even thinking, just because they said something positive about the Amico.
That maybe I should look into this person and see. Yeah, definitely. It's like,
well, I mean, the guy's name was at SellerBeast. At the very least, he should have said, "Wait a minute, this doesn't sound."
I didn't even pick up on it until you just said it again. Oh, that's so bad.
So
it's so bad.
Yeah.
SellerBeast.
Apparently, the account did get reported, and it's off the internet. So.
Oh my God, you can't make this stuff up, can you?
You can't. And thank God for Otto over there at AmicoGames.com. I know he's busy with his dude ranch. So the fact that he takes the time away from his family and his employees to go ahead and run AmicoGames.com, I really appreciate that.
Hey Tony, I can't see how many people are we got in there still with us. Can we get a shout out to who's left in the room still
Well,
listening to us talk?
we got 6 people still in the room. I think Ninja Kitty, Samuda, Have an Amico Day channel.
Okay. Right on,
56K
guys.
Warning might still be in there. I mean, whether or not there's 10 people, 20, 100 people.
No, that's great. That's great.
Pretty-
Anybody who'll listen to at least me blather all night, that's great. So I at least hope that I got some decent points, things that, are respected and that other people share that same thought. Like, I'm not out to destroy Tommy. I really don't want to. I think he's done enough to himself. I want to see it be successful. And as far as I don't see it, but I really wanted it to be something. I think there's a different approach. I think they would definitely, if you asked them, they would do things differently. But at the end of the day, I really hope that, at least the people we're coming across, I know we have our tight knit group of guys that kind of share the same opinions, but I hope at least I've been informed and maybe somebody will come across and at least respect my opinion as I've respected a lot of, guys on the other side. I think, I tried to make amends with Cyrus and said, I've said some nasty things and, I feel bad about it, but at the same time, everybody's being attacked, it's just a whirlwind of just confusion, craziness surrounding the Amico. And personally, I don't think it looks good, but I just hope that, at least the guys that are listening enjoy and appreciate at least what you're doing. When I come on, Carl's great to have on every night. I think he's a staple. So
yeah, Carl's a must-have. You got to have Carl on. I'm surprised that he left us today. It was very
quite
weird.
early.
He checked out early. He said he had to eat. I guess he was eating a late dinner. Checked out on us. Yeah. As far as the people on the other side go, I've tried so many times to send out olive branches, to invite people onto this show, to invite people onto the channel.
I'd love to speak with Pete. I really would. I think Pete has not backpedaled, but put on the brakes a bit. And I think he's seen kind of where this was heading after E3. And he said, look, guys, I kind of want to take a step back. And he's been pretty, even though I always talk about Pete and his attitude, which I think is great. It's great to be positive and all that. It's not me. I always see things with a fine scope. I look at it and I pick it apart, and that's just what I do. But I think that benefits some people, and some people like, Saggy, he doesn't really want it. Like, there's people that don't want to hear it, and I know it's hard to hear that, but I think that's a general consensus of what people are thinking. At least my age, guys that might not have grown up with it, even though I did. I enjoy it. I just hope that everybody takes it to heart that we're not just trying to destroy Intellivision Tommy Tallarico. That you have one pre-ordered, and I'm dying to hear what you think about it. And if I had the extra $250 to maybe throw down on it, I might. But there were other options available, and I went down the Playdate route. So
yeah, like I said, I would love to have other people on here. I did have Saggy on here once. I've invited Cyrus a couple of times. He has declined.
Retro. And I died.
Yeah, I was supposed to be on a Retro Bro show with a couple other individuals, but that got canceled after Tommy said that he was getting death threats, and basically I was told that it was partially my fault, that I've fostered a community that has created these horrible people to threaten Tommy Tallarico. Amico Day says that Saggy said in a live stream that she no longer wants people to post links of people who talk about her. That's fair. I mean, personally, when people talk about me, I love to retweet them out and let people know, because the more people talking about me, the better. Get my name out there. Like I said, I'd love to have people on here. I'd love to have conversations. I'd love to discuss things, break them down. The problem is they don't want to have discussions. They don't want to hear an opinion that's different from their own. They want to only hear good things, the positives about the Amico. If you have a question that implies that it might not be exactly what Tommy has promised, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to discuss it. They just want to call you names and say that you're ill-informed. You don't know what you're talking about because obviously you do not have the insider information they have. You do not have the experience playing it. So your opinion is invalid. And that I think that's the biggest problem. That's the biggest reason that those on my side of the fence and those on, say, Pete's side of the fence can't come together and have a discussion because they don't allow discussion. They don't allow people to say, hey, I don't think that they're going to be able to make X amount of pre-orders or they're going to be able to make X amount of physical media because of such and such. They don't want to hear it. Tommy has told them what they're going to do, and Tommy has said that this is the route they're taking, and that's the only thing they believe because Tommy's never wrong. And when Tommy is proven to be wrong, they put their fingers in their ears and say, la, 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 la. I don't want to hear it. Now, it seems that I've lost Obsessive Compulsive Gamer. Once again, back to solo streaming. But we are at the 3 hour and 44 minute mark. So I think we're going to go ahead and call it a day. If there's anyone in the chat who has anything left to say it now. Forever hold your peace. As Kermit would say, love, peace, and booty grease. We out this bitch.